Hi there, I'm Hunter Biden's laptop, and I'm here to remind you to like and subscribe to the show today and enjoy the show. I know you've never seen me before, but you just have to trust me that I am really Hunter Biden's laptop. There are no other pictures of me, so, take a picture, it'll last longer. That's right, I'm Hunter Biden's laptop telling you to like and subscribe to HAL SPARKS Mega Worldwide. Now, and become a Patreon supporter. Patreon.com/HalSparks. It's how they buy all the computer gear, which I totally personally. Anyways, yes, I'm real. I'm the real Hunter Biden laptop in exactly the state. I even have a cracked screen. See that? Daddy, I've been through a lot. I'm just saying. I've been underwater. Fuck you. Subscribe. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. Today, trying out a new camera, thanks to the Patreon folks. We got the Insta link, which is supposed to be very good, and it's nearly 4K. So if my skin doesn't look as good as normal, it's because it's a more honest rendering. It's a higher res that I'm used to dealing with. So hopefully, I look okay for a 53-year-old man, who takes care of himself on the regular. And they're like, no, my hair is always this color. It's just that it usually looks darker because I have to turn the contrast up on the other camera, and this one doesn't. So there you go. I look older. Thanks very much. That's very sweet. Yeah, this is good. I look, all right. I am older, by the way. Everybody's older. You know what? I'm older than the last time I said that sentence. Now I'm even older. See how this shit works? No one escapes the reins of time. The giant fishhook that is in our lip that will pull us towards our demise in the great boat beyond. So there, you can see the pimple on my neck. Oh, that's good. It's a good one. Do I have one? All right. Okay. Anyways, that's my pimple. That's my Adam's apple. Piss off. Yeah. Anyways, thanks. Hope the camera works out. It looks good to me. It does a way better cutout. Don't think for a second that I don't have like frizzy hairs that it makes evaporate. That's just the nature of green screen within the software I'm using. But in general, I think it looks a little truer to form. So there you go. We're taking giant leaps forward, damn it. So here we go. Now, right out of the gate, yes, there is a Trump rally tonight. And as with most Trump rallies, we might be in for a long one, kids. This might be the Thursday to end all Thursdays. Let's see, where's this shit? It's in Sioux City, Iowa, Central Time. So he should be starting in a couple hours. But let's see, hold on one second. Where's this? This is at 1:27. Let me scroll forward. Nope. Okay, so they're not to him yet, but 120, where is it? There we go. We'll have a lot of pre-coverage stuff. Don't worry. My lips don't match the video? What? Sure they do. Stop it. Am I? Okay. Yeah, so anyway, settle in, everybody. Yeah, I'll be doing the rally. I'm going to have to check back with it. Let me turn the sound off and turn this all the way to the end and hit play. So it just kind of keeps rolling in the background so I can keep checking on it during the day. Right now, can I show you something real quick, though? All right, so this is the current state of the rally right now. My Pillow ad on RSBN and some lady, whatever. Anyways, right about, where is it? 120-something, 24? Yeah, so Marge Greene comes out. She spoke a little while ago. And she comes out to like hokum, like bro rock. Which should come as no surprise. I mean, I don't want to get a hit with a copyright strike, but listen to this.
Welcome to the stage, U.S. Representative from Georgia's District 14, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh yeah! Come on! Down, Scooby-Dooby wank doong. I make CrossFit motherfucker throwing that weight in the air. Got the clean and jerk blowing through my hair. Come on. Like, it's that kind of shit. Can I check on Stuttering John? He's canceled his shows and put a hold on Patreon. No messages. I'm worried. Oh yeah, I will. I'll check in with him, see what's up. I was not aware of that, and now I am, and I will, of course. And also, our dear friend Philip Ittner will be with us Saturday in the second hour of the show. So I will batten down the hatches on all the people you are worried about currently and make sure that they are safe and secure. So anyways, it's all douche rock. Like, you know, bow, 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 you know, all right. But meanwhile, we don't need to see the whole thing, but let me see if she does. We're gonna have a good old time. Yeah, here we go. Watch this shit. Can I just show you this one little piece? It has nothing to do with what she's saying. So what she's saying is the same shit. And by the way, as she starts talking, people start sitting down like, okay, here we go. Hold on. Will do, Andrea.
They're running for office claiming Republicans are destroying democracy, but yet it's Democrats who are destroying our country.
Yeah, all right.
Democracy is a government.
And then, wait. And right as she's saying, they're saying we're destroying democracy, but they're the ones destroying our country. P.S. Get your Trump knife. Claim your free Trump knife. Jesus Christ. 250 free knives if you sign up today at freetrumpknife.com. I mean, seriously, eat your heart out, Jimmy Carter. You never had a shit knife made in China, by the way, if I may. Right. Get your free Trump knife. Settle in. It's free Trump knife. And then they've got, by the way, the still photo they have of this dude down here is him just jerking off into his ear. It's such a weird, like, it's like it reminds me of the Suicide Jack in a deck of cards. Get your free China knife before Biden, with his deal he made with the Chinese, cuts off all of our deals with China. Made a deal, three-phase deal. We did 1/3 of one. That's 3 times 3 equals 33. Obviously, leading us to, all right. Oh shit! Hold on. My camera. There you go. My camera does this weird tracking thing now, and if I gesture, I got to turn off the gesturing thing. Back up, silly. That's funny. It zoomed out, which is a good thing, I suppose. Hold on one second. There you go. That's funny. More settings. Turn this thing up. I gotta turn off gesture settings while I'm doing the show. Otherwise, my camera is gonna chase me all over the place. It has all these like weird gimbal settings that can make it like zoom in and stuff like that. Hold on, let me see if I can do the. Yeah. So if I do this and hold it, it'll zoom in on me. And zoom out on me, because that's so weird. See that? Isn't that funny? So I can't do Trump gestures. I wish I could redo the gestures on this camera so I could use them, but I can't do Trump if I have that turned on. It's so funny. It's one of those things like it's basically a camera off of a drone. It's that kind of stuff. Yes, technology, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That's exactly right. So, free Trump knife. Don't forget. So good. Awesome. Gonna happen. Oh, God. And it's the guy who is allegedly, this guy's allegedly fucking MTG right now. That they both apparently dumped their spouses and they've been hanging out an awful lot. Apparently, they've been bumping uglies. That's the TMZ MTG story. do the oh my God, the Russell Brand zoom. It'd be like, and then it would just slam into my face. Where's Hal? His camera zoomed in and knocked him out. He was doing Russell Brand hand gestures and
to really do something here on the next couple of years. Let's see if we can have Catherine or Liz, or as we
somebody get up here so we can talk over all of this music that gets us kicked off. Anyways, okay, so let's get on with the show until this shit starts happening. Hold on, I'm gonna hit play on it, and then I'm gonna turn the sound off so we can check back in on it, so it'll keep rolling and up to date. There you go. The darkness is coming. So TMZTG, right? So couple of things. One, apparently. Oh, and it screwed up my camera on this side too. Hold on one second. So where are we? Zip down here to the gimbal. That's what I'm calling it. And slide that over there. There you go. Oh, and I got to sort it with the, and see how it like zoomed in on me, and now you can see my bathroom door. Zip. See, I can fix that shit. I don't worry about it. And then you can see the corner of my acoustic guitar that I used to record. Zip, take that out. Look at me, just like a fucking green screen pro up in here. And watch this. Chuck. I saved the planet, and anyway, I saved the planet, and I thought a coffee would be nice, and hot lap. Never mind. All right. New tech, Hal has twinkly toddler eyes. Do they make my eyes look good? All right, anyway, so, all right. Now, well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants. Thanks, Chris. Don't forget, like and subscribe, thumbs up, support the show. Just subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. Even on Twitch, if you have Amazon Prime, it doesn't cost you a dime. And most of you do because of COVID and stuff. So there you go. All right, now. There has been a lot of, how dare they say I am right-wing when I am clearly left-wing happening on a bunch of the faux-aggressive side of things. And I'm not going to do the clip because we've had enough, quite frankly. We're over quota, even though we're behind our normal quota. It's just annoyingly too much. But I would like to show you a thumbnail from the Jimmy Dore show to give you just how right-wing it's become. Now, there's a right-wing talking point going around that Democrats were okay with violence because they thought there's a difference between protesters and rioters who get arrested as rioters should be bailed out, but rioters aren't the same. And then again, we elected Joe Biden, who was the guy who said rioting and mobs are not protests, made a very clear distinction, ran on it, won with, by the way, the largest share of the black vote in the primaries of anybody. So, like, it's a silly point to make, especially. But this idea that Democrats are pro-violence when it suits their, when it suits them, but when now they're upset about Paul Pelosi. That's been all over right-wing Rumble accounts, YouTube channels, all that shit. It's just it's to be expected. But check out this this Jimmy Dore thumbnail. Now it's bad. Rand Paul, Keith Olbermann, Nancy Pelosi, a bunch of hammers, and Dems who cheered on violence now outraged over Paul Pelosi attack. And now I'm going to go with, because he has Rand Paul front and center, that these are the people who were like Rand Paul's neighbor was right shit, like Nancy Pelosi's daughter did. And she actually, I think Twitter took her tweet down about it. And I would like to say for the record, it's always been bad. And there's a difference between the idea that there was a scuffle and an ass whooping that happened Rand Paul's way, because that was not necessarily a political thing. Like the assholes arguing over shrubs and, somebody stepped up and got knocked down, it seems, is very different from a guy breaking into a house because he wants to kill your wife or at least hobble her like some sort of right-wing Annie Wilkes and decides that his consolation prize is to cave in the top of your fucking head. Two grown men going at it. One gets his ass handed to him. Very different than an 82-year-old man getting a hammer to the skull. Just saying. But, when is that a distinction that Jimmy would ever make? You know what I mean? So I just wanted to point that out and just go consistently gross. Fuck you. Yeah, there you go. Now, let's get to some real stuff. Clearly, the big lie has been roaming around. It's been, it's throttled us. I keep looking in the wrong lens because the lens this is the new lens and this is the other one. See, because I left my old camera up for the tunage. He's got two cameras and they're both used for different purposes. Boy, this looks like shit. I'm sorry. Hunter Biden's laptop is not the sharpest tool in the shed. I'm just saying. Anyways, so I've got two cameras up and I've got to train myself to look at the right one so we're addressing each other. So I can be, I don't want to do the Greg Kelly, So apparently we all know that the left is planning on taking over the elections with lots of Chinese software that bounces votes through Spain and via satellite and gets recounted in German and then bounced back to Iowa and then shuffled around and then some papers printed out of a special Chinese machine that prints out ballots with panda jizz and bamboo shoots in the paper, and that's how you can tell, and blah, blah, blah. And it's clearly a left-wing thing. So the lefties are doing this. The lefties are doing all this stuff. That's why the lefties are attacking the good and true leader of Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro. But don't worry, they're coming to the rescue. Oh, by the way, the left got Biden elected, and that's why Biden is congratulating Lula for winning in a tight race in a country that has like 1/8 its economy is 8% of the U.S. economy. Yeah, Bolsonaro. So, but if you're a right-wing dictator who wants to have autocratic control over your country and you get legit voted out of office, what the fuck are you supposed to do? Who's going to come to your rescue? Frank speech, that's who. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not just the U.S. election that was stolen by the stealings of the stolens. Oh, no. Oh, by no means. The Dominion apparently was up to their nuts and guts in the Brazilian election too. And this dear friend of Donald Trump's has been unsat, and therefore clearly a sign that not that the people of Brazil are tired of his shit and want to move on, but that they just decided they're going to steal it because it's stealing. That's why. Oh, we have over 1,000 people in the chat. So if you want to do a $10 super chat or something to celebrate that, we well past. We're at 1,200, so we could get close to the double 666. You could do that as well. I'm just throwing that out there. Okay, here we go. Terrible at this. I can't. Whatever. All right. So, I've got to start this up.
All right, so it's not going to be. He did say okay. I got that word. All right, so we're going to go and.
Oh, by the way, it's not going to be translated. They open in the middle. This is a clip they fucking posted. Again, I do not select these clips. I do not take a chunk out of something and say, you know what, they said this stupid shit. The rest of it, you can just assume was brilliant because I just picked on one piece of. No, they went, this is a great example of the production quality, the intellectual depth, and the political understanding of Lindell / Frank Speech TV / Lindell Report / mypillow.org. Hey, oh my God, Kathy, thank you so much. That's so sweet. Thank you. We're waiting for 42K. All you got to do is subscribe. I could pull that bullshit thing that all the YouTube guys have now started doing. I've noticed from my analytics that the majority of my watchers don't subscribe. So if you could hit that bell, it really helps the channel. That is a bullshit ploy. Somebody said it on a YouTube video a while ago to help up your subscriber base and push people to subscribe. It's nonsense, but I'll say it anyways if it'll help. All right.
Let's see. Okay, wait a minute. Let's see if they. Let's see if they put it in. Okay. Here.
This is going good. By the way, I do this shit, and I don't have $1 million fucking studio paid for by, crackpillow.org. Thanks so much, Jonah. Right? I do this sometimes. Like, I freshly look for shit, but I'm not. This is his show, and this is the Lindell report. So why is this fucker even on camera when he's told him to look? Oh, Benny Loco, thanks very much. I'll take that $5 and give it to a charity that promotes nonviolent political discourse on your behalf. Ironically. All right, I'm kidding. Much love. Thank you. So, fucking, this dude has got his hands so far down in Mike Pillow's pockets that he thinks he's holding on to a roll of certs. And turn Lindell up. Okay, I will. I turned the other one down. Okay, this is their shitty production value. I apologize if other shit is loud.
Here we go. Let me tell. I want to begin by thanking the 58 million Brazilians who voted for me. And then he says, the current popular movements are the fruit of indignation and a feeling of injustice about how the electoral process went down. Peaceful protests will always be welcome, but our methods cannot be those of the left. The president noted the leftist rioters in Brazil were the ones who traditionally practiced, quote, invasions of property, destruction and historical sites, end quote, and other acts of violence, discouraging supporters from such behavior, quote, we are for order and for progress, end quote, the president said, repeating the words on the Brazilian flag. He then offered some optimism, declaring that the
optimism, that's 8 points of positive thought.
Conservative movements, quote,
Seattle, thank you,
are more alive than ever. He went on to say our robust...
I'm sorry, I'm getting a Brazilian patriotic chubby right now. Could you read a little slower?
Representation in Congress, the strength of our values, God, fatherland, family, and freedoms. We control...
How did he... what word did he use for fatherland? Did he use was he speaking Portuguese or German?
Various positions of leadership in Brazil.
Thank you, Deirdre.
I was always maligned as anti-democratic, but contrary to my accusers, I've always played within the 4 lines of the Constitution.
The 4 lines?
The president continued, meaning he did not violate any constitutional restrictions. He noted emphatically that he had never advocated for the censorship of voices in social media or other public venues.
Dude, I don't give a fuck. I want to hear Mike Pillow's take on this shit. Come on, give it to me. This is it. How much of this shit? Okay, there we go. I need this asshole to read a fucking article. What if I want to see that shit? I'll tune into Ben Shapiro.
Had put out an order by this Superior Electoral Tribunal. That was I think 3 people that come from their Supreme Court, and they were ruling that if you referred to this guy as a criminal or a convicted criminal or a communist, you could be in big trouble. That's the context where he says, among the many opinions, the Superior Electoral Tribunal, the agency in charge of elections, censored during the race was the fact that Lula had been convicted of corruption charges.
Yeah, but by the other guy's party, which is what made it suspect. All right,
while the TSE claimed only to censor alleged insults, such as calling Lula corrupt or a thief.
It's kind of like when our media here was told, don't talk about Hunter Biden's laptop.
Right.
Right. Except there is no Hunter Biden laptop. And by the way, they weren't told not to talk about it. They said it's more than likely false and it's being spread by, to manipulate the electorate. And it turned out to be bullshit. There is no Hunter Biden laptop. It's a hard drive that Rudy Giuliani bought in Ukraine from some Russians that were trying to undermine the Ukrainian government. By the way, in the lead up to this war, we now know this was going to be part and parcel to the plan to attack Ukraine, not just to undermine Biden in the election, but to undermine the Ukrainians as some sort of corrupt regime. And therefore, if they got knocked off in a Trump second term, fuck them. Yeah, it's a great strategy.
Hey. Exactly.
Very similar. Very similar.
Yes.
Yeah, totally very similar. Yeah, absolutely. I guess technically there's some similarity to it in that the corruption charges against Lula, I suppose, were concocted by the other party. Maybe you're onto something there, Mr. Pillow.
So he goes on to say they denounced in midterm in October that it has been ordered not to mention.
Yeah, right. Oh, shit. Oh, thanks, Valencia. Thank you so much. Thank you for keeping me granted. I'll do what I will do what I can. Don't the fuck that these people were behind the coup. It was never going to work. I told you. It's never going to work. They're going to, like, this is below the production value of InfoWars, which is in a death spiral.
Lula's corruption case in any context whatsoever. That was one of the news networks. Then we got, quote, "It is an honor to be the leader of millions of Brazilians who, like me, defend economic liberty, religious liberty, and freedom of opinion, honesty, and the green and yellow colors of our flag."
Yeah, well, I mean, you just take that as written.
Quote, that's how he concluded.
Yeah, it's great. I'm for it. You know what? I think we should probably invade.
He did not mention Lula, who he ran against. He did.
Oh my gosh. Tobias, thank you. Elizabeth, thank you so much. Peer pressure. Listen, you guys. Crazy Insane Alien, thank you so much. Paul Wilgus, thank you. Carmela, beg your pardon. I thought that was an I, not an L. It's very small text. I'm sorry. Carmela C. Paige, bless you. Say what? Thank you. And yes, good. Okay, we'll move on. Thank you guys for the support. I appreciate it. All right, here we go.
He did not mention Lula, concede defeat, or in any way indicate that he would aid in the presidential transition.
Yeah, it's almost like he's a prick just like Trump. Shocking that you guys are just throwing yourself on his balls.
His chief of staff briefly addressed reporters to confirm that a transition process into the third Lula administration would begin, quote, based on the law, end quote, indicating but not explicit.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain the law says if you lose the election, you're not the administration anymore. I know it might be complicated language, but I'm fairly certain even in Brazil, you have to win the election to become the president. If you know what I mean. All right.
That Bolsonaro would not contest
Bolsonaro, but sure.
The election.
Just call him Carbonaro. At this point, why not just make him a sauce?
So we'll see where this goes.
I know. Ask me. I know where it's going to go. Fucking nowhere.
Okay. Well, here's what I want to tell everybody. Here's the facts.
Okay, here's the facts. Straight from Minnesota, in the heart of Brazil.
Brazil did not use paper at all. So
yes, everything is digital down there. It is the most advanced country on the planet. It's like a fucking Tokyo internet porn bar. Like the only paper there is tissue.
So they use the machines. We have, just by our numbers, 5.1 million. And if you add that in, if you add that flip, Bolsonaro easily wins.
Yes, if you take the number he lost by and pretend there are other votes that are more than what he lost by, and then you add those in your mind, he's the president now. This is so fucking dumb. I do think there's something wonderful about the fact that he's basically given up on trying to convince people that the American election is shit. He's like, I've told everybody. I've literally told every person that's going to listen in this country that that 2020 was stolen and elections are shit here. I'm going to start franchising out to other countries. Apparently, Glenn Greenwald is making a shit ton of money shit-talking democracy down in Brazil, and Mike Pillow is trying to carve him off a slice of that baloney.
Handily wins. Now, remember, Brandon, that this is just one camera angle. And looking at this,
I've got two camera angles. Not that I'm bragging. Thanks, Patreon supporters. I need a gleam sound effect. I work alone. There's no one here. If only I had a Brannon that would sit in the other room wearing a suit that he spent all the tech on and then just bought demo versions of overlays and software to make the show run. And then I was dumb enough to be convinced that he had really made something of value and from scratch. If only.
If they get the machines, okay, all he needs is to get a couple of machines. Get one machine, open it up, and look what's in there. They're all...
Yeah, just crack the fucker open like an oyster. If there's a pearl inside, you're the magic king. Congratulations. You take the magic pearl, you put it on your forehead, somebody hits it with a small, like rubber mallet, and it presses it into your third eye, and now you are the king until the pearl falls out. It's totally legit. It's in the Brazilian constitution.
All the computers, they go horizontal, everybody.
Yes. Well, yeah. They're horizontal. I get it. They lay down on their back and they're horizontal. I get where you're going. That's it. That's the end of it? That's the last thing he fucking says? Wait. That's where they stop it. The machines go horizontal. Hold on. Pause. Fuck off with this. Pause. Go back to the end. That's the last of it. Oh yeah, 9 seconds left. Watch this shit.
He needs us to get a couple of machines. Get one machine.
One.
Open it up and look in there. They're all the computers. They go horizontal, everybody.
That's it. They go horizontal, everybody. That sums it up. Shit, you know. I understand why they picked that clip. You know, that's how you do it, right? You know, if you're real professional broadcasters, you go, okay, pick the clip from today's show that if you could only pick one clip, that would lock people in. That's going to make people sign up. That's going to make people come back. That's going to be the trusted video that people go, oh yeah, watch this. And at the end of it, it's just like, I don't know what the fuck. That's their wrap up of the Bolsonaro loss. Meanwhile, Bolsonaro's like supporters, quote unquote supporters, are blocking roads and setting tires on fire to stop the election going forward. And these guys are fucking jealous. Crystal, I'm glad you're all warm. I would like to say for the record, you're watching HAL Sparks Mega Worldwide, and I'm in Las Vegas right now, and it's chilly. It was, 44 degrees overnight, and it's like 52 right now, something like that, 52, 56, something like that. It's impressively chilly. We opened the doors and windows to just let the air come through, and we were both like, burr. The cats were like, hey, I know I'm covered in fur, but fuck this. What's happening? Yeah. That the fact that it's, yeah, I know, like it's in the Midwest, it's like 72, 75 degrees. And then in LA, it's 63, and here it's 50 something. 100? Where are you, Andrea? On the sun? 83. Oh, Central Florida. Okay. Well, but at least it's a swampy ball stick to your leg heat. So count your blessings. But it's an alligator heat. Oh, by the way, I do have my hair in a ponytail. Some people were asking, but I had to. I literally was getting a headache because I've been working in the garage, and I've had my hair in a ponytail from dawn till dusk all goddamn day for days on end, and I was getting a headache. So I had to do like the loose founding fathers ponytail, which I'm going to stick with. Like if it was a little, like if I cut it right here, it'd be totally a Jeffersonian. God damn it. By the way, everybody's jumping in telling us 22 degrees at 4,500 feet. Good Lord. I feel like I could fly to your house. I know exactly tell me what the barometric pressure is in the wind direction. We're good. 70 in Central Florida, 72 in Des Plaines, 19 in Calgary. All right. Canadians, you guys can hold, but it was cold. Yeah, eh? My good friend Nantuck and I, there's an old Jim Carrey, like the bit he did on the anniversary show for the Comedy Store about what it's like when people find out you're from Canada. Lovely. Here you're from Canada. Bet it was cold. Well, after my friend Nantuck and I would finish drilling a hole in the ice to find food. Right. All right, so now, next up, let's check. Hold on, I'm going to check in. Nope. Oh, God. Back to the Trump rally. There's an ad. Okay. Eek. Not closing that down. Now, I'm going to close that window. Hold on, is he interviewing? Who's he interviewing? If he's interviewing MTG. Nope. Ha! I'm one of the actors in the live version of No Country for Old Men. We do a touring. It's called No MAGA for Old Men. It's a sad story of a man who goes around in a red hat, door to door with a vacuum, and instead of using a cow puncher to kill people. He sucks their brains out through a hole in the front of their head, and magically they all understand the value of being America first. And it's a good story. So he's interviewing this dude. All right. I love Canadians. Let's go. All right. So now Trump was interviewed. So we'll get a little tee up. We'll go with the live rally when it happens. But we'll get a tee up to what he's going to talk about in this interview that he gave on Real America's Voice on American Sunrise, where he basically wake and bakes the media. He calls up people and just fucking rambles, and the rung that he's calling in on is getting lower and lower and lower. Like, there are no, even Maria Bartiromo isn't having him on. Ouch. Watch this. So this is him calling into Real America's Voice through a bank shot, and it is to quote our dear friend Ferris Bueller, it is so choice. Watch. Hold on.
Be interviewing the nation's 45th president, Donald Trump. So we'll get to that and dip in live as soon as it gets rolling a little bit later this hour. So it's ready? All right. It sounds like Donald Trump may be ready.
In the John Turbic Radio Network.
Let's dip in live.
Thank you for being with us today. We're live at the Sunrise Cafe in here. This is
He's live in here. He's inside where he is, just so you know. And this is the quality you would come to expect from Real America's Voice, a channel that has their own Roku app.
This is our 17th day of our 23-day MAGA Team MAGA bus tour. Joining us now, President Trump. Mr. President, it's great to have you on today. Thank you.
President Trump, Mr. President.
For joining us on day
my fellow presidents.
17 of our Team MAGA Real America Speaks bus tour.
That sounded like Teen America. That creeped me out for a second.
We've been to North Carolina for Sandy Smith, Virginia for Vega and Kiggins, Connecticut, Vermont for Major Malloy, New Hampshire, General Don Bolduc, Caroline Levitt there, and Bobby Burns, and now we're crisscrossing Pennsylvania.
They're crisscrossing. This is going very well. Can you just get to Trump already? Because this is painful.
We've had over 1,000 people actually sign our Team MAGA Trump.
Wow. You've been to basically maggot safe spaces in 5 states, and you've had 1,000 people sign stuff? Dude, I had more birthday wishes on Twitter. Thank you guys very much, by the way. It was lovely. And I still have the card that the patron sent me, and it's up on my bulletin board because it's lovely.
Bus, not on your face, though, just on the other stuff. Today we're live at the Sunrise.
Oh, they signed the bus. They signed the... Hey, Marjorie, come on over here. We gonna sign the bus. That's what we're gonna do. Come on now. Hey, come on now. We all got to sign the bus. We're going to, hey, gather in here now. Listen up. I want y'all to, hey, stand in line. Everybody make sure you get your double-sized Sharpie. We had a couple people before walking up here with golf pencils because they thought it was all fucking cute. Ended up just denting the metal. Just trying so hard. I don't know how many times I have to tell you folks, you cannot get ink from a number 2 pencil. So simmer the fuck down and listen up. Here we go. The man's going to talk. Hey.
Cafe in Clark Summit, Pennsylvania, in Lackawanna County, just outside Scranton, where you got all these Democrat Trump voters. I got to tell you, Mr. President, you know I've done these before. We're getting record enormous crowds wherever we go with our Team MAGA bus. The enthusiasm for your America First agenda is off the charts. I think we're going to win 50 seats in the House. I think we're going to get 5 or 6 in the U.S. Senate.
No, dude, like these dip your wick, like maggot only polling where like people are excited. Meanwhile, this fucker is going to jump in and tell everybody that the vote is rigged and it was rigged and it's going to be rigged and it's still rigged. Oh, okay. It's getting dark. It's getting dark. Let's see. Hold on.
Of these Trump-endorsed candidates, I've never seen enthusiasm, Mr. President, like this in my life. What, in your opinion, from what you've seen, what is driving this surge at the end? What's changed?
Hold on.
days, but I know you. You're a strong man.
Hold on. He's been talking
These are great people, and I was getting criticized. I was backing people that people were.
By the way, I don't know what the fuck. He was talking the whole time while that guy was talking, and they just didn't pot him up.
Unsure about, and after a little campaigning, all of a sudden, look at Carrie Lake. She's taking off like a rocket. And, when I did that, I was sort of out there by myself. And shortly after they heard her and they saw her and she did her magic, all of a sudden she's doing phenomenally. She's leading by a lot. You have you're in Pennsylvania, I think now. You have great people there. Oz is great. And Oz is doing really well. And Mastriano.
He's great, and he's doing very well. He's not doing great. He is great, but he's not doing great.
We got to get him going because, frankly, he is fantastic. He'll be one of the greatest governors in the country. And, you just have these fantastic people. I think Doug is going to be a big sleeper.
But no, he isn't. By the way, I'm enjoying the total lack of noise filter on the other dude's mic while he's listening to this. Because first of all, there's no way that Donald Trump is calling in from a fucking Cracker Barrel. And secondly, way to not give a shit. I have audio problems, but again, I'm by myself.
I think people aren't talking about it, and he's a tough, great guy with a big, beautiful heart. So we hope he does well. But they seem to almost all be doing well. They're doing articles that Trump was right. They did the other articles, Trump was right about everything, the borders and everything else. But now they're doing articles that I was right about people. And to me, it made sense.
Yeah, nobody in his cabinet. I mean, Kash Patel just turns state's evidence on this fucker.
Take a look at these incredible candidates, and it's America first. They want to see America first. They want to see MAGA. They want to see a thing called Biden doesn't understand this. Make America great again. And we did, as you know, much better in the second election than we did in the first. And yesterday,
honest to God, he sounds like the dude on SNL that does the impersonation of him right now.
Pennsylvania,
he's in a Denny's. Live from a Waffle House, it's Donald John Trump. No. All pancakes, no eggs. What'd I say?
Yeah, well, they made a mistake. Hundreds of thousands of votes. You saw that they made a mistake. But we're not going to apply it.
I can't stop picturing him by a payphone, putting a stick of gum in his mouth, just
Trump's election. We're going to apply. This was the Supreme Court. We'll apply it from now on. You can't do that. But for mine, they were able to, and it was totally election changing. It's a disgrace what's gone on. It's just really disgrace. But people see that, and it actually inspires them that it never happened again. And so we're very honored by it. We have fantastic people.
Well, you're right about Doug Mastriano. Colonel Mastriano's drawing, 500-600 people in every event that he goes to. We're going to be with him the remainder of the week. And so it's a grassroots effort. Being outspent 25-1, but it doesn't matter. But I think you're right there. We're trying to figure something out you could help us with. Do you have any idea, Mr. President, what the Democrats' closing argument is in the last 5 days here?
It's hard to believe they can be so stupid. They're not stupid. And I think the only thing they really must be wanting to do is destroy our country. When you have open borders, when you have no voter ID, when you have weak on the military, high interest rates, high taxes, you can't buy homes anymore. The rates have gone through the roof. All of the things that they do, when you leave Afghanistan and you take the soldiers out first. I was leaving Afghanistan. We were going to leave with strength and dignity. They didn't shoot any of our soldiers for 18 months. He left Afghanistan and the soldiers moved out first. And it was a bloodbath after that. It was incredible. They were so afraid of our soldiers. 18 months, Abdul, they didn't shoot any of our soldiers. And we were going to leave with strength and dignity. We were going to keep Bagram, by the way, because it's an hour away. It's a big airport.
Okay, first of all, he was going to, again, maggots. Anybody, any fucking Republican, Jesus Christ, that says he was going to get us out of Afghanistan, not only with dignity and respect, but fucking at all, is nonsense. You just heard it. We're going to get out of Afghanistan, but we're going to keep Bagram. We're just going to... how our soldiers leave a country and fucking stay forever? Never. I mean, zero exit plan. Build the base and stay there forever. This is the same guy, by the way, who wanted to pull our troops out of Germany, but he wants to leave them in territory that is disputed between the Taliban and ISIS fucking K. Lord Almighty. Okay, now let's see if is he at this thing? Nope. But you can get your Trump coin. So good. So good. What do you see? I don't know. All right. And then...
Air Force Base. We spent billions building it, and we left it with the lights on in the dark of night. We surrendered.
Well, we had to leave it.
You know, when they see...
we had to leave it with the lights on in the dark of night. We're not going to leave in the dark of night with the lights off. We'll trip and fall in the desert. There's like mines and stuff. I mean...
all these things.
I don't know what the fuck that means, by the way. We left it with the lights on in the dark of night. How is that supposed to be? Like, even it was worse than leaving without dignity and respect. We wasted energy. Nothing irritates me more than someone. I mean, are we trying to refrigerate the whole neighborhood? What's happening? All right.
But the border, the open border where millions of people are pouring into our country, that we have every single day, people are watching it. And it's just even the Democrats, if they have a little sense, they realize how stupid it is. We had the strongest border we've ever had, and now we have the weakest border we've ever had. And I believe, John...
And by the way, no, we don't. As a matter of fact, well, I'm sure this will come up in the rally as well. Is that him arriving? Wait, hold on.
This rally off on the right, get it going. And the people here are ready as well. It's a school night here.
It is.
Think about that. It's a school night here.
I see a lot of kids out in the crowd. So
I have seen several kids in the crowd. Yeah. Of course, think about this for a second. If you're just now getting off work and you live in this Sioux City area, perhaps you live in even Omaha to a certain extent.
If you started driving from Omaha. Trump's supposed to be on stage right now, but if you started leaving from Omaha, start driving from Omaha right now, you'll probably get here before he gets on stage.
Pretty easy to get in the car and drive down here to this little regional airport here.
Yeah.
And come in and join the rally. So I have seen a little bit of a jump in attendance here as we've moved into the later hours.
So you're saying it's not quite packed. He's having an outside rally in the cold at a regional airport. Motherfucker.
Certainly, being that people got to go to work, they got to get off work.
Who are you telling? Us? Jesus Christ. I can't get him to get off the goddamn plane. There's a shortage of Adderall. What do you expect? All right, here we go.
And I've said this to you before. I believe it's the weakest border ever in the world.
Right.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. That's because he thinks that he's like, no third world country.
There's no third world country.
What'd I say? Fucking hell. Like I'm scaring myself now because I've heard this shit so many times. Like, I even know where it's going. Like, the reason he thinks a third world country wouldn't put up with this is because the third world country would just open fire on refugees and murder them as they walked. So that's not a bragging point.
Would allow people to pour into a country. I don't care if they had to use sticks and stones to stop them. There's no way that any country at all, with only a barely go.
Sticks and stones. So MAGA is now gonna what? Go down to the border and just throw rocks and sharpened pieces of wood at people approaching the border. Hoping to break the bones of asylum seekers and migrants coming to the border. Fucking hell, just gross.
Government. There's nobody that would allow that to happen to their country. What's happening to our country? Our country is being poisoned.
Oh yeah, I think this is the part where I didn't watch any of this earlier. Is this the part where he's like the dirty people from South America are poisoning our country?
Poisoned from within, and people are being dropped from jails. They're emptying jails out there. Jails, countrywide jails are being emptied.
Countrywide, really? Not are the Cracker Barrel jails closed? Countrywide jails are being opened. You know, because that's a thing.
Into our country, and this guy does nothing about it. It's
a kind of guessed this shit would be coming up. Just saying. September 2022 monthly operational update. While failing regimes in Venezuela, Cuba, and Nicaragua continue to drive a new wave of migration across the Western Hemisphere, the number of Venezuelans arriving at the southern border decreased sharply nearly every day since we launched additional joint actions with Mexico to reduce irregular migration and create a more fair, orderly, and safe process for people fleeing the humanitarian and economic crisis in their country, said CBP Commissioner Chris Magnus. Over the past week, the number of Venezuelans attempting to enter the country fell more than 80% compared to the week prior to the launch of the joint enforcement actions. Okay, so here's our numbers right there. September 2022, 77,000 Venezuelan, Cuban, Nicaraguan people, and 58,000 from central Mexico. 42% of those are unique encounters. Less than half are people that haven't been kicked out once already. More than half of the people that are coming across the border, in this particular case, 58%, are people who have tried to cross and got caught again and rejected. That's how they show up on the list. Mexico, 32% are unique encounters. They've tried multiple times and they keep getting tossed out. The change of people from September of 2021, more than 245% of people crossing from Venezuela, of the 77,000. So before it was, closer to, 7, 8, 10,000, 12,000, something like that. 60, 24, carry the 2. Yeah. And meanwhile, Mexican crossings are down 23% from a year ago. And even at this number, 245% rise, 77,302 total people, not millions, 77,000. These are Venezuelan, Cuban, and Nicaraguan people in particular. And less than half of those, it's their first try getting across the border as they get caught. The large number of expulsions during the pandemic has contributed to a higher than usual number of migrants making multiple border crossing attempts, which means that total encounters somewhat overstate the number of unique individuals arriving at the border. Yeah, the guy who attacked Paul Pelosi was a Canadian who overstayed his visa for years. Build that wall. Sorry, Canadians. Bad news, eh? So, all right, is this dickhead showing up? Nope. Well, we have to scroll ahead. Little sparse.
For President Trump. So
ouch.
I think a lot of people we saw it after work hours, the way this crowd filled in.
Yeah, they're filling in. It's filling out now.
We can see it with that. We have another camera that you guys are able to see the side angles where everyone is just packed in right next to each other. So those are all the people that came after work.
Yeah. All right, good look there.
Yeah, I'm going with sparse over here, and these people don't look packed. You know where it looks packed? You know what looks really packed? Right behind him, where Trump's gonna stand. They have jammed those fucking bleachers full of people. That's what's happening. Like, that's a fucking fire hazard. Look at those folks. And it's not reflective of the entire venue, because look at this. Like, there's chairs. These are empty chairs back over here. There's walk-in room. People are fucking dilly-dallying. They're sick of like hanging out waiting for this dude. Yeah. Meanwhile, he's on the phone with these guys.
Mr. President, just the other day, we have a Senate seat in New Hampshire. I spent a week there.
Just the other day, Mr. President, I was remarking on the high-quality microphones and the clarity of audio we have on this channel, and we were like, this is fucking presidential, if I do say so my damn self.
General Don Bolduc in position to win that race now, tied with Maggie Hassan. Mitch McConnell, the majority leader, takes $5.5 million in the final 2 weeks out of his campaign advertising spending and gives it to Murkowski in Alaska, which is a Republican seat. Whether Tribeca wins or Murkowski wins, that's a Republican seat. Why would you take money out of a swing seat that you can beat an incumbent like liberal left-wing Obama, 100% Biden supporter Maggie Hassan?
Because you can't. Because he's looked at the numbers and she's going to fucking lose. Because the turnout is terrible. Because Donald Trump himself has talked any of the swing maggots coming out of the woodwork to go after her.
And give it to somebody that's a guaranteed Republican seat. Why would you do that?
Because it's not a guaranteed Republican seat, and it's divided between two fucking people, and they got ranked choice voting. And if he doesn't give it to one of them to weight it in that direction, they're fucked. Not that I mind.
Like Don, like Blake Masters, so he is a...
What's a liberal? Well, we live in a liberal democracy, if that's what you're talking about, Lalo. This is we live in a liberal system. The liberal world order is with a small L or a capital L, I would argue that small L liberal is about people who are for the tenets of the Bill of Rights and the tenets of the Constitution itself in reality, and that it should be equally applied. Conservative is not so fast. Conservative, the argument was, well, it was a mistake to let women vote, and it was a mistake to let minorities vote and people to marry minorities, and gay rights were a mistake, and gay marriage was a mistake, and any of this new shit like electric cars, we need to tap the brakes, no pun intended, on it until other people prove it works, and then we'll just drink their milkshake.
A bad guy. He's done a bad job. He's allowed $4 trillion to go into the hands of the into the hands of the Democrats, and this is a $4
trillion. I don't know quite what he means.
$4 trillion into the hands of these radical left Democrats who are wasting it on the Green New Deal.
Oh, I see. He means like the bills that were passed for like infrastructure and shit like that.
And all he had to do is talk about the debt ceiling. I can't do it because of debt ceiling.
Oh, yeah. So he was supposed to choke this. He's still mad at him in 2020 because he thought that if he'd okayed the extra payments, then his attack on January 6th would have been more successful because more people would have backed it because they were expecting a full $2,000 check from Republicans once they took power, which they were never going to sign on to. They don't believe in. So why the fuck would they? And he's still mad.
He increased the debt ceiling. He approved the debt ceiling. He let him have it, and he got nothing for it. And they must have something on him. The only thing I can say about him, they must have something on it. But I hope that Don and these guys are strong, that he's not giving money to. In his position, he raises money. That's the only power he has. Because, frankly, he doesn't have any leadership ability. He was a stiff. I made a mistake. I endorsed him. He was so nice to me for a period of time. Then he comes to ask for my endorsement. And
by the way, he keeps saying this repeatedly, that everybody came and kissed his ass and kissed his ring, from Zuckerberg to Mitch McConnell to whoever else, and then they all turn on him afterwards because he's building himself up to be the godfather of the Republican Party because he's not going to run for president. He's going to suck all the money he can out of this run. And then, like from the Save America PAC thing, and then he's going to, close to the election, go, I just can't. Because the numbers aren't going to be there. He's going to fucking lose. It'll be a struggle. His same old tricks aren't going to work. His idiotic performance in debates will fucking suck. If any of the Republicans go against him, it will knife their tires. And he knows it, and everybody in the Republican Party knows it. So they're going to do everything. That's why Paul Ryan was caught on tape saying, we know he's going to lose. Because he is. He's going to fucking lose. And he knows it. And he won't swing for these fences again. He can't take it. But what he needs is the money from the suckers who think he's going to run. But what he'll do is, I'm not going to run because of health reasons or some other shit. And then but I am the voice of the Republican Party, and people have to come and kiss my ring like the fucking Godfather, and I will tell you who's to vote for and who's not, and I'm really running things. And if anything goes right with the next Republican president, it's because I told him to do that. And if anything goes wrong, I told them in private not to do that. And then he'll just make the speech money that he thinks is out there for him and all that shit. And he'll continue to raise money for his Save America PAC because it will be supposedly that he's trying to, like, he's gathering, and now he's about, like, creating this this generational shift in Republican politics. I'm telling you.
Are some topics. And so just, if you could go visit.
Sorry. There we go.
Do very well in Kentucky, thank you. And I endorsed him. You know, what am I going to do? There was nobody running against him. If in retrospect.
So he needed your endorsement because nobody was running against him? Yeah, they were.
I would have run one of the congressmen from Kentucky. He wouldn't have had a chance to win. We're hitting 99%. You heard that, I think, Jack. 99% on endorsements, on, you know, denomination. And I think we're not going to be
on denomination
so far away from that.
Yes, if you convert it into yuan, he's doing very well.
The election's the way it's turning out. But Mitch McConnell to take $10 million and give it to Murkowski, who's the worst senator.
10? Dude just said 4, didn't he? Or 5? Does he just... Is that how his fucking brain works? Is that how easy it is to fucking just win in certain corners of America? Is just whatever somebody says, just double it and pat yourself on the back for it. Because it seems like what he's doing. Anything bad that's happening, it's somebody else's fault and it's twice what they say it is. Anything that's good that's happening, it's double what they say it is, and it's all because of him. That's the plan. That's all right. All right, fine. Hey, I'd like to welcome all 80,000 of our subscribers here on the HAL SPARKS Mega Worldwide channel. And of course, over the, 120,000 people who follow me on Facebook and the 250,000 that I have on Twitter. And then, of course, I want to don't pay no attention to that right now. I've got 2,500 Twitch subscribers. I just like the orange and black kind of Halloween colors mix there. I'm just letting it look like that for a while, but I already won a long time ago, and everything I have is double. But you have to keep. Everybody needs to subscribe, otherwise they'll cheat and they'll take away my subscription numbers. Thanks, C. I have 42,000. That's in reality. I'm just using his theory. Sorry.
The Republicans have, worse than some Democrats, I'll be honest with you. She's as bad as it gets. And you take a look at her votes, and voted against Kavanaugh, voted for this last judge that was justice that was put up. The whole thing,
this justice that was put up.
Disaster. Votes against energy. I mean, she votes against energy. She's in Alaska.
She does. Yeah, she I think you're not even allowed to have Monster drinks in Alaska anymore because she votes against all of it, man.
And they have a crazy election up there. You know, they have one of those elections where you start voting for number 1, 2, and 3, and they can rig those suckers so easy. But
yeah, it's high math, but you can rig it so easy.
He has somebody that's great up there, Kelly Chewbacca, and instead of giving the money to her or doing it somewhere, he actually is fighting. It's probably his hardest race. He's fighting to get our worst senator, absolutely worst. He's the only one. He doesn't like her. He goes away. She goes against him all the time too. But he's spending all this money. If they gave that money to Blake Masters and Don and others that you mentioned, okay, they'd all win. This guy.
I thought they were already going to win because they've got his endorsement.
Does not deserve to continue to be leader.
Yeah, it's a good point. Donald Trump has like $100 million. He's got like $100 million in that Save America PAC. Why doesn't he fucking do it? I mean, he could write a check tomorrow for the equal amount. Hey, fuck you, Mitch McConnell. Here, I'm sending $1 million. Four senators, $1 million each. Right? Why not? Oh, all right, because he's paying his bills with that money, and he's like taking out loans based on it staying in the fucking account.
And hopefully somebody's going to challenge him. But I'll tell you, if I run. And if I win.
And if.
He will not be leader. That's the only thing I can guarantee you. He will not be the leader.
Well, yeah, because you'll both be 115 years old and people will be voting for your brain in a jar that's hooked up to some sort of Neuralink that Elon Musk has kept alive on his desk.
Well, I think right now the Republicans are going to pick up 50 seats in the House and maybe 5 or 6 in the Senate. If that happens, do you think Rick Scott can beat him?
Well, Rick is a hard worker. He should be able to beat him. The problem...
But no, because if Rick Scott wins, then his whole plan about sunsetting everything every 5 years and all that shit, which, by the way, won't pass, because Biden's never going to sign the fucking thing, and they're never going to get the presidency if people are running on the idea that if they've got the House and the Senate for the next 2 years, which they won't, but if they had both of those and somebody was running for Republican president, the voters themselves would go, okay, so we need a check on this shit, so we need to give the House back to Democrats or the Senate back to Democrats. That's how it would go. There's no fucking way the Rick Scott plan goes, and if Rick Scott becomes the Senate majority leader, then everybody knows that they're gonna use Mike Lee and all those fuckers to shut down Social Security for good.
If it was
Sorry, hold on.
70-degree weather, the Democratic Party can't.
And the way they were so quick to pin that on consumers.
Oh, they're talking about the
we have
policy
with him is he raises quite a bit of money. You know, it's easy to do when you have that position.
Right.
But he raises money and
Yeah, apparently it's easy when you do it too, motherfucker, but you just don't. Trump raises a shit ton of money. He just keeps it. You know, you want to know how what Trump fundraising looks like? That's what it is. That's he just eats it and shits it out.
then the money goes, he'll give 10, 15, 20 million dollars to these guys. I actually told a couple of them that are totally on my side, take the money.
Right.
Don't turn it down. It's enough. Take the money. Worry about it later. They can't stand him. Even when they take the money, most of them can't stand the guy. Now, so ultimately, he's got to be out. I actually say they must have something on him. There's no way he would have voted to give them $4 trillion. They got $4 trillion. And then they go around saying how wonderful they are. And all he had to do is say debt ceiling. You know about debt ceiling, is that right?
Yeah, he knows. Yeah, he knows about debt ceiling. Of course he does. He's a genius. But explain it for the who's at home, for the shit eaters in the back.
John,
yes,
better than he.
You probably know better than you of all people. Who are you again?
Yes.
Right.
If you say debt ceiling, it's over.
If you say debt ceiling, it's over. Jesus Christ. This dude was president for 4 fucking years, and this is the top of his understanding of economic issues.
Everything, it's over. And, it's all being wasted on the Green New Deal.
No, it is fucking not.
Just terrible. Which is like throwing the money out the window. It's actually worse. What the Green New Deal is, it's worse than throwing the money out the window. Germany now has gotten away from their windmills. They've gotten away from all the stuff. They're building coal plants, okay, all over Germany.
No, they're not.
They tried the experiment. I told her it wasn't going to work. And they couldn't fire up their factories. They couldn't do anything. They were dying. And right now they're building coal plants.
What he means is, let's see. They have one plant online, one coal plant, and they are restarting a second one to save on gas during the war. They're not building new coal plants. They're just restarting a second one. That's it.
All over Germany and opening up their old plants. Because they had...
And they're, again, they're just fucking not. But nobody's going to check them on this. That dude is not going to pipe up. Go, well, I mean, they're reopening one more. And technically, their number of coal plants in action have gone up 100% because they went from 1 to 2.
How to get back to business. This stuff, it didn't work. And it was very expensive. And it's made in China. Those big windmills are made in China.
No. You know where else they're made? In Germany, you dumb fuck.
90% of the others are made in Germany.
Gee, I wonder which one the Germans are going to use. This is so stupid.
So it's
So it's they make Germany makes wind turbines, and they make them right there, but they'd rather buy them from China and sell theirs to us. I don't know, France, Czechoslovakia.
It's sad. Look, the Republicans, and I say it, we're the party of common sense, and the party.
Yeah, I know you say it. How?
What is it? We want a border? That's not conservative?
No, it isn't. Everybody wants a border. It's how you address the border issues in your country that determine the ethics and principles of your fucking party. We want a functioning border that acts as a barrier to illegal immigration, but treats people who are economic migrants equally to the way if they flew into New York or San Francisco on an airplane because they come here to work and they are presenting themselves to work and they're necessary to the economy. And then we want to keep drugs out and all that kind of stuff, but we don't want turrets on the top of it opening fire on groups of people who are desperate and trying to reach the border. We would rather have human beings and technology there that would not entail them being shot.
That's common sense.
Right.
Yeah, it's common sense. And Biden comes in and erases the border. Again, the only people saying there's an open border are Republicans.
Everybody has a border. We fight.
Everybody has a border. So what do we need one for? Why don't we just use theirs? Why do we need a border? Mexico has a border. Canada has a border. The ocean's a border, technically. Why don't we just use theirs? Let them have a border, and we'll just not have a border, and you keep your people on the side of your border. Otherwise, it's not a border anymore, and we can come in there. The minute Mexico, you don't guard your border from people crossing it into here, we're going to attack. Because you're telling us you don't have a border.
Fight for other countries for their borders, but we don't have a border ourselves.
It's incredible.
We had the strongest border in our history.
Because of COVID.
2 years ago.
Yes, it's almost like all human transit between countries was shut down.
Strongest. We had less drugs coming in than in 32 years. We were doing a job.
No. We had less drugs caught coming in than in 32 years. That does not mean the drugs weren't coming in, because we had the highest number of fentanyl deaths in a 1 year period during that same time. So no.
And by the way, it was getting better and better every day. And all you had to do is leave those people alone. It was unbelievable what we did. And then all of a sudden they didn't want to finish. We finished the phase 1 of the wall.
Phase 1, motherfucker. Now he's just calling it phase 1. HAL is 538 polling wrong? Yes, it is.
And then I said, let's do more, because there were some areas that were so bad. And
yeah, by the way, the let's do more areas were private land owned by American citizens that buttresses right up against the Mexican border. And Donald Trump seized some of that property and built a wall right through these fucking people's territory, giving part of their privately owned land to Mexico. That's right. Donald Trump, the first American president to give territory back to Mexico since fucking the 1800s.
We would have had it done in 3 weeks, except the election got rigged. We would have had it done in 3.
Yeah, he would have had his health care plan 2 weeks. They would have had Iran wanted to make a deal. It was going to be a busy weekend. He'd have one fortnight of hanging out, and then it was going to be fucked, because in one Saturday, Sunday, he's got to release his taxes, his Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security plan for solvency. He's got to release his healthcare plan. He's got to finish the wall. He's got to finish his trade deal with China. He was going to make Iran come to the table. All of it was just 2 weeks away. If he hadn't had the elections stolen from him, it could have happened. But we had to fuck it up. All he needed was 2 more weeks.
3 weeks.
Sorry, 3 weeks. It's 3 weeks now, because it's a lot of shit. Yeah, granted, once you start stacking, he's going to need at least another week.
And this guy said, no, stop. And that's when I realized something was actually wrong. They were actually serious. I said, they must be kidding. It's crazy. But we had the strongest border in the history of our country. And now we have the worst.
Everybody did. Because it was a disease that was killing people, and everyone was staying home.
Border in the history of our country. It's not even believable.
In 19
and when you
months.
hear 3 million people, it's wrong. I think it's 10 million people.
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing. If they think it's 3 million people, it's wrong. I think it's 10 million. It ain't. By the way, just for here you go. Shall we? Let's just run through these talking points, because I'm sure he'll bring it up during the rally, but who gives a shit? Undetected unlawful crossings were likely higher in the 2000s. Border Patrol apprehensions along the southern border in 2021 and 2022 have surpassed the 1.64 million arrests the agency recorded in 2000, a figure that stood as the record high for 2 decades. By the way, recidivism, as it is over 50%. So, yeah, there you go. However, Border Patrol now has significantly superior apprehension rate than it did in the early 2000s due to improved surveillance technology, more enforcement areas, and thousands of additional agents. In fiscal year 2000, Border Patrol was able to apprehend 43% of all border crossers, according to government estimates, which calculate that there were likely 2.1 million successful border crossings that year, where migrants evaded apprehension. The Border Patrol apprehension rate has increased dramatically over the years, reaching 90% in 2019 and 66% in 2020, mainly because Border Patrol agents and others were limited by COVID, and they're assuming a certain number came through, they came across. And I forget who was president in 2020. Someone will have to go and look that up. Detected and undetected unlawful border crossings that do not result in an apprehension also have plummeted, falling from over 2.1 million in 2000 to 200,000 in 2020. That's what he's talking about, the lowest one. Because COVID, according to government calculations, there were an estimated 660,000 successful unlawful border entries that did not end in an arrest in fiscal year 2021. 660,000. According to unpublished DHS figures, which also show the apprehension rate for that year was over 70%. I mean, it's nowhere near the fucking... They say it's millions and millions and millions and millions. They're saying 666,000 people got through undetected and made it into the country. These figures include got-away incidents of migrants who were detected but not arrested by Border Patrol and estimates of undetected entries. So they puffed the number because they're assuming a certain number. Yeah, the fucking border story has been happening for 100 years. Exactly. It's the same shit all the time. Statistics suggest there were 2.3 million border crossings along the southern border in fiscal year 2021. The sum of Border Patrol arrests and estimated successful illegal entries. That's a smaller figure than the estimated border crossings of 2006 and prior years when successful unlawful entries hovered around above 1.5 million. In fiscal year 2006, for example, there were likely over 2.8 million unlawful border entries. In 2000, meanwhile, there were approximately 3.7 million unlawful border crossings. The latter tally is one the total border crossings in fiscal year 2022 are unlikely to surpass, even with the record levels of Border Patrol arrests. Arrests. Even though they catch a lot more people, because they're catching 70% of the people coming across. And border arrests don't equal individual migrants. After hovering below 15% in the preceding years, including 7% in 2019, the Border Patrol recidivism rate jumped to 26% in 2020 and 27% in 2021. People trying again and again and again and again and again and again and again. In fiscal year 2022, over a quarter of all Border Patrol apprehensions have involved migrants who have previously been arrested by the agency. They returned them to Mexico, and then here they come again. And by the way, I don't know about you, but this picture strikes fear in my heart because these people are clearly dangerous. I mean, look at that kid. There's no way you can't tell me that he doesn't have a diaper full of fentanyl and a brain full of bomb-making intelligence. Yes, this is this kid's not MS-13. He's MS, I'm guessing 11, maybe 12. That's not 50%. I know, because they're using specific numbers on one particular area of the border. There you go. Number of migrants expelled using Title 42 under Trump and under Biden. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to look at this figure, if I may. Migrants processed under immigration law, Title 42 expenditures. Expulsions. Now, Biden took office, and we have started processing migrants using regular immigration law again. The Trump administration, and by the way, this goes to 2020, where if they went further back, you'd see that it diverges as well. See this little blue part right here where they're processing people? That was going down, and then we hit April of 2020, which I don't remember what happened during 2020, and I don't remember who was president. Someone will have to check that number for me. But this is during, this is Title 42 expulsions, and this is people processed under immigration law, which doesn't mean they get to stay. And by the way, stacks on top of these folks. So see all these expulsions? That's still technically part of the expulsion rate. So some are counted twice in that regard, or under the processing rate, rather. And again, this is, let me go into here real quick. Another point. The idea that the people bringing fentanyl across the border are illegal migrants. The vast majority of fentanyl seized being brought across the border are from U.S. citizens. I would say vast majority. I'd say over 50% are being muled by Americans. Just saying. Okay, here we go.
Yep. Well, that's their goal, is to just is to transform America so they can get cheap votes. I mean, that's what Obama said. So kind of the same policy.
That's not what he said. And by the way, this has been the storyline amongst Republicans right now, and Trump's been patting himself on the back, that Republicans have gained ground with Latinos, and they will continue to do so because of divisive issues like abortion around the highly Catholic Latino population and migrants who don't like socialism because of the countries that they came from. And then, of course, on top of that, Latinos who view themselves as intrinsically different from other minority groups and do not like being lumped in with them and are more conservative, let's just say, on crime, for example. I don't use Latinx. That's presumptive of me. I will not degender another language from another culture. Like, that doesn't make any sense. If they stop doing it, I don't know. Even look, it even says Latino here on the MSNBC page. So I'm not going to X out the gendered language of another culture. That's not going to happen. So, and many of them believe the stolen election, blah, 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 yada, yada. They've been touting this. So if the idea is, if Democrats have a plan to flood the country with, South American immigrants who they can easily turn into votes, I've said for the longest time, it's a stupid plan considering the large number of South American Catholics in and amongst them who are, anti-abortion, anti-choice. Largely, there's a thread of sort of like South American machismo that leads itself to a very patriarchal, male-dominant cultural decision that's much more in line with sort of the right-wing Charlie Kirk incel crowd than it is with Democrats in any general way. And that's not just the men. That's also how the women are brought up. And when they come across, that's how they think. So there you go. Thought Latinx is Afro-Latino? No. It was meant to X out the A or the O at the end of Latino or Latina. It's a gendered language. So that I'm not going to do that. People go down there and do it.
Mr. President, it's really evident now.
And they don't, by and large.
Now, to anybody that's watching this, that the Democrats are desperate to find a way anyway to get you off the ballot, to indict you in a desperate attempt
to enforce the law so that America still maintains its qualities as a country of laws.
To keep you out of the 2024 race, keep you.
Yeah, no, he'll do that himself. Yep, they're still dicking around. Nobody there. We might have to, at this rate, it's fucking 5:30. If he doesn't get there in the next 10 minutes, I might have to punt this whole rally to tomorrow. He's going to say the same shit he's saying here anyway.
Out of getting that nomination in Milwaukee.
No, he's still not on stage. It's, what the fuck time is it there now? Is it 7:30 where he is? Mark, are you going to run down there? Buddy, please don't. It'll drive you crazy. Yeah, and it's chilly. Yeah. It's warmer than it is here. But, I mean, look at her neck scarf thing. Her cravat. Yeah, it's chilly.
Which you're going to get if you decide to run. You're going to be the Republican nominee and win. How are you going to fight these potential indictments, all these things that they're trying to
Yeah, obviously you're not going to do it by hiring good lawyers.
to keep you off the ballot? How do you fight this, sir?
Well, you're right. They are dirty players, horrible players. We had Bill Barr, who was a big stiff. He was afraid to do anything because he didn't want to be impeached. And, you know, he was...
The fuck does that have to do with anything, asshole? Bill Barr was your AG. He's not your goddamn lawyer. He just asked you how you're going to fight all these legal cases against you. Hey, by the way, can I just say, Trump settled his the assault case that was going in the Bronx, where he had his dudes attack the protesters outside of Trump Tower. Remember that shit? Yeah, hold on. Let me show you how. Let's see. Yeah, here you go. Trump organization suddenly settles with protesters beat up by its security guards. Inundated with lawsuits and ongoing trials. That's, by the way, I don't know why he doesn't go, well, obviously we're going to settle some of these things just to get them off the books, move on. It's not like it's my money. Save America PAC this is why I couldn't give the $4 million that Mitch refused to give to other. I was going to give these candidates that money, but I had to spend it settling with people that I had my security kick the shit out of, in the name of free speech. On Wednesday, chose to settle with anti-MAGA protesters who were beaten up by corporate security guards outside Trump Tower in 2015, rather than try to convince a Bronx jury after 3 days of struggling to find jurors who didn't already have strong feelings about Trump and his eponymous company. A difficult undertaking in liberal New York City, defense lawyers at the last minute chose to settle. Minutes after Justice Andrew Cohen sent potential jurors out to lunch on midday, Trump Organization lawyers approached the protesters who filed the suit and presented them with a stack of papers that they quietly signed. A lawyer representing the Trump Organization, Jeffrey Goldman, was overheard telling the judge that everything was golden and that nearly everyone had finished signing the agreement. Efrain Galicia, the lead plaintiff, signed the paperwork along with Florencia Tejeda Perez, Miguel Villalobos, and Noberto Garcia. The parties all agree that the plaintiffs' inaction and all people have the right to engage in peaceful protest on public sidewalks read a joint statement, which was also signed by Trump Organization defense lawyer Alina Haba. Yeah, they couldn't find anybody in New York was like, no, I doubt Donald Trump sicked his guards on people. How are you going to handle these things? Well, Bill Barr's an asshole. No, didn't you just sign? Yeah, they have to. I'm sure the details of the agreement were hidden. I just want to see what the price tag was. I'm sure nobody's going to say it's going to leak at some point. It's got to be in the millions. Oh, is Trump up? And I'm down to goo, baby, shooby shoo.
Around the country and...
Nope. Yeah, they're playing YMCA. Okay, well...
all celebrate the fact.
Oh, my God. Who cares? This is... These people are dancing the YMCA, which is about picking up dudes and having sex with them at the Young Men's Christian Association. Because it's cheap and you can sleep there and everybody there knows how to have a good time. It is fun to stay at the YMCA. I never know. I only had 2 sleepovers at the YMCA in my life. It was for a YMCA fun club in Frankfort, Kentucky when I was growing up. I went there in summers, and we would swim, and we would do crafts, and we would occasionally watch a Godzilla movie. You'd have to bring 50 cents to contribute to watching a Godzilla movie on 16 millimeter in a little auditorium, kind of like conference roomy thing upstairs. And this particular YMCA did not have dorms, so it would not have been the kind of place. By the way, that's also the place that swore me off of green Gatorade for the rest of my life, because I got a can of Gatorade because of the beverages that were available. It seemed the most healthful choice, even at my young age. They had just started putting Gatorade cans in there, and I cracked it open, and it looked like somebody had loogied in it. There was some gooey, gelatinous, boogery substance on the surface of it, and it was nasty, and I threw it away. And, barf. Yeah, it was in a can. They're not dancing, they're shaking from the cold, exactly. They're trying to keep warm. It's a little sparse, too. There's a few people doing the YMCA thing. The rest of them are just like, oh, fuck. Because it's windy as shit there. Are they playing the proud...
President Donald J. Trump!
Oh, my God. Look at this. Oh, it's so good. He's going to come in. He's going to be wearing a hat. He's got to be wearing a hat. And the hat will blow off. It's going to be great. He's got to be wearing it. I'm calling hat. Yep, there we go. He's not going to subject that dew to the wind. Are you crazy? Iowa welcomes President Trump. Yes, it does. Look at this. Oh, it's cold. I've got gloves on and a jacket. Yeah, he's got a long coat on. The wind is fucked up. He's going to bitch about this. He does not want to be in Iowa saving Chuck Grassley's ass in the middle. Yeah, he's got the hat is stapled to his head. He's got one of those tubes that they used to install snaps on people's heads. Do you ever see that shit? People actually had like button snaps sewn into their fucking scalp so that would hold their tube on. He's got one of those, and so the hat is attached to the snaps. Oh yeah, total. He's wearing gloves and all this stuff. Oh, and the cameras are on autofocus and auto track. This is quality entertainment. Hey, you. Oh, boy. It's a lump a dump. This is just stupid. What am I doing here? And then it's going to... Does he not... Yeah, he's just going to wander around like country Hitler. You know? This whole, like... Just let the song play out. I had this deal. I don't have to pay Lee Greenwood anything if I let him play the whole song out to the end. And so, just gonna wander past the podium like this, clap. Hey, look at the people and this. Well, I'd like to welcome the true patriots of Iowa. And here they are, squirt, squirt. And hey, there's you, point, point. Finger in your butthole. Here we go. God help us. If I ditch out on this, I'm fine. Free. That's it. All right. Yay, so exciting.
Wow. Thank you very much. And
wow.
I want to just say it's cold out here, but not that bad.
It's like bitches right out of the gate.
And it's a little windy. I said, do you think I need a hat? They said, you might be better off with a hat. Mm-hmm. I wanted to show you this beautiful hair tonight, but what the hell? I'll show it. I'll get it. I'll lift that hat up sometime. But I want to just thank everybody. And hello to Sioux City. It's been fantastic. We were here a long time ago, and it started things off. And we've had some fun making our country great again. And then, unfortunately, we had a road.
What? People are wearing green hats behind him. Is this a Christmas thing?
Block with this character, these people that are there now. It's a disgrace. What
disgrace? Don't drink every time he says disgrace. You're going to die of alcohol poisoning within the first half hour.
Happened to our country, but I'm thrilled to be back in the great state of Iowa with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots.
He says that at the top of all of them. And I appreciate the big gap of people right over here. At some point, I will tell the press to turn around and point at everyone, show the giant crowd and all the people waiting outside. Don't do it.
Just 5 days from now, the people of Iowa are going to re-elect a legendary senator. He's a legend, you know.
In his own mind.
Chuck Grassley.
I am so glad to be here. I'm Chuck Grassley. Nice to see you.
First time I met him, he said, what do you know about politics? I said, man, this guy's tough.
Yeah, those are the hard questions. What do you know about politics? What do you know about politics? What was the emphasis on it? Was it on what or you?
No, he's the greatest. I'll tell you, he's become a great friend of mine. He's like no other. Chuck?
Yes, he's like some others, mostly character actors in old Disney cartoons. Why, good night, how are you?
Grassley. So get him in there. I think he's not going to have a problem, but now I know after this tonight, he's not going to have a problem. And also, you're going to re-elect one of the great governors in our country, Kim Reynolds, as your representative governor.
That dude is way too excited about the governor.
She's been incredible. Everything she does, it just works. And you're going to vote for an incredible slate of true America First Republicans up and down the ballot. And we're going to end crazy Nancy Pelosi's political career once and for all. Right?
Why would you cover that guy's face? He's so excited to be there. And then you throw a save. Oh, I see. Greene is farmers for Trump. It's an Iowa thing.
Right, Jeff? Jeff. Oh, you're the greatest.
Yeah, Jeff. Jeff, what's your name? Hey, Jeff. Good job, Jeff. Fucking Jeff, am I right?
What a job you do. Get ready for the White House, Jeff. Under Biden, Pelosi, Schumer, and the radical Democrat Congress, the Iowa way of life is under siege.
What do you mean, Michael, what do you mean who? Jeff. It's fucking Jeff. Jeff is going to be the next vice president under the whoever runs with DeSantis. Good old Jeff.
And it is a great way of life, a beautiful way of life. Biden and the far-left lunatics are waging war on Iowa farmers, crushing American energy, attacking Iowa ethanol, and strangling Iowa families with soaring prices. And there's never been a president better to, really, I think I can say to any of these great people, is that right, Eric?
What? Finish the thought before you ask them whether they agree with it. No one trusts you.
There has never been a president that has been better to the farmers or better to Iowa than Trump. Okay, that I can tell you, right?
Why? Because you paid them a socialist wage because you were fucking with trade?
Inflation is costing.
Yeah, Marjorie Taylor, Jeff/Greene 2024. Exactly, Carrie.
The typical Iowa household, $700 every single month. Think of it. $700 inflation. You had no inflation with us. You had no problems with it.
You had no business. You had no downtown.
Anything, frankly. The southern border is wide open. Millions of illegal aliens are pouring in, a level that nobody's ever seen before, and I think that includes any other country. Violent crime is out of control. The far left is indoctrinating our children with twisted race and gender lunacy in our schools. And just moments ago, a radical left lunatic judge in New York City who is totally controlled by my worst enemies in the Democrat Party and by the New York Attorney General. There's another beauty who was given his position by them at the request of the out-of-control Attorney General who's let violent crime in New York rage in the state, including murders, robberies, rape, and drugs at levels never seen before.
Also, not even fucking close to true. You can talk about rising crime and how you would deal with it without pretending it's fucking 1970s during the middle of the fucking Son of Sam murders.
Started a process of property confiscation that is akin to Venezuela, Cuba, or the old Soviet Union.
Why? Because you're going to have to pay fines?
It's communism, what's going on in our country. They're weaponizing the Justice Department.
to create communism.
They've weaponized things that were not supposed to be weaponized.
Well, you don't have to tell me. They have weaponized things that were not supposed to be weaponized, which is, technically speaking, that's true of anything you weaponize, because if it didn't start out as a weapon, it's not supposed to be a weapon.
Companies are already fleeing New York, as you probably read. You don't have to worry about it here, that I can tell you.
Yes, you don't have to worry about New York companies fleeing Iowa.
But now they will be leaving even faster. What they're doing in New York is unbelievably sad.
Well, no one left faster than you, and you took for fucking ever.
And it's all coming from Washington, D.C. You know that. There's
New York. So sort of a bank. It's like bumper pool. D.C. hits New York. Bank shot into Iowa. Gotcha.
only one choice to end this madness. If you support the decline and fall of America, then vote for the radical left Democrats. It's very simple. And if you want to stop destruction, save our country, and save the American dream, then this Tuesday you must vote Republican in a giant red wave. Giant red wave.
Yeah, just say it twice. That it's like Candyman. Just say it. You know, if you say it one, you only said it twice. If you say it a third time, maybe it'll appear behind you. Is that his giant red wave? Wave. I waved. It says wave, so that's how it works. Words, they're in the thing, and then they hit my brain, and I react to them. So I've got a red hat on, I wave.
There's no more urgent task for our future of our country than to stop the invasion. And that's what it is. It's like a military invasion. Many of these people are coming out of jails from other countries. They're dumping their prisoners into the United States.
No, they're not. And by the way, every time, let's see if we can find this. Well, maybe they are, but I want to know what they were. Hold on. Where is it? This guy? Yeah. I want to know what they were charging these folks with. What crime were these folks? Yeah, what prison did this lady get out of? What prison was this kid in? And by the way, if they're fleeing countries where they're putting kids this age in prison, not like youth programs because of their violent offenders, prison, he's saying. They're dumping out their prisons, and this is who is showing up. I'm saying as Americans, we have a responsibility to allow that I would clear their asylum claim if they were dumped out of prison and allowed to come here. Fucking A right, they can come in. What the fuck's the matter with you?
But we're going to stop it, and we stopped it once. We're the greatest border, the safest border in the history of our country. We're going to have to do it again. You know that, right? We're going to have to do it again. It was just revealed.
Yeah, he's not going to do it again. He's like, he keeps saying we're going to have to do it again because he's not going to run.
That this September set yet another all-time record high in illegal border crossings, with 250,000 illegal alien migrants.
Alien? What the fuck word was that?
That this September set yet another all-time record high in illegal border crossings, with 250,000 illegal alien migrants.
Alien migrants. They're both ailing and partly alligators. They're alien.
Trespassing. They just trespassed right across our border.
They're just wanton trespassers.
1 month. We've never had numbers like this, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We set every record during the summer, and that's very hot. They really come in during the fall, during the winter. You're going to see numbers that you've never seen.
No, they don't.
I believe you're going to have 10 million people, at least.
At least.
2 years ago.
Boo! 10. Look at this guy giving the big thumbs down. They picked right. These two guys are a sitcom waiting to happen. Of course, this guy drove them there, and they're never going to make it home. You guys just lay down in the back of the truck. You'll be fine. Yeah, no, hey, man, I'm a massage therapist. I'm going to give you a little shiatsu. I only got 10 fingers. If you feel 11, just get up and run. That's my good old Chris Bono. It's one of my favorite Chris Bono jokes. I'm a massage therapist. Just lay down on the table, take off your clothes. I'm going to give you a massage, you shiatsu and deep tissue. I only got 10 fingers. If you feel 11, just get up and run. Get out of here now.
Yeah, we did. And we built the wall, and then we added more. And by the way, 2.5 years they stopped with legal, and we won it all, and we got it built. And that's why we had the best numbers in the history of our country.
But then when the wall was finished, which it wasn't, but it was, the border's gotten worse than ever. The fuck is the wall for?
2 years ago.
By the way, in the building of the wall, because of the nature of it, they had to build more access roads, which made more traversable land at the southern border than at any time in history, which is why more people have places to cross.
We had the strongest southern border in American history. Now it's the worst border, I believe, in the world, because I don't believe that any third world country would
Right, because they would open fire on women and children. Right, that's not a dump.
Allow to happen what's happening to us. I don't believe that. And there's Uncle Sam. Stand up, please, Uncle Sam.
Right. It's all just wherever your brain goes, just run with it. You know what I mean? It's like, whose line is it anyways? And it's always Trump's.
It's the greatest. He's that great uncle. And he's the real deal. You know, he follows me around.
Yes, we know. You got a lot of repeaters in the audience. And even still, little dry back there. I think the people at RSBN are fucking with you.
And I like him. And he's central casting. You are a handsome Uncle Sam, I'll tell you.
All right.
Thank you very much. He's great. Great guy. Great patriot. Biden, Pelosi, and the radical Democrats.
Based on what? Because he plays dress-up cosplay at your rallies?
Spend all their time obsessing over the borders of distant foreign nations that many people here have never even heard of.
Yeah, a lot of people there have never heard of Ukraine. You didn't talk about it non-fucking stop.
And Americans deserve to have a Congress and a president who will protect our borders of our nation, right? Don't you think? We deserve a government that will defend our sovereignty, secure our land, stand up for our families, and protect the people of our country. It's called, very simply, America First. We want America to come first.
Right. And if you watch how he dances, he wants to come on his hair and his eyebrows and his jaw and his tie. It's American bukkake first.
This year, more Americans will die of fentanyl and drug overdose than the number of Ukrainians killed in the gruesome and bloody war that, by the way, would have never happened. That's what a horrible thing is going on over there. Yet Biden and the radical Democrats.
First of all, you mean the Ukrainians will die of fentanyl or just in the war in general? Secondly, they've lost like 200,000 people. If you count civilians, not military deaths, civilians.
Democrats do nothing at all to stop the death and devastation caused by this invasion into our country.
Yeah, they do. They're arresting a shit ton of people.
Since the end of the Trump administration, the drug cartels have seen their revenue skyrocket by an astounding 2,500%. Would you say that's a lot?
Wait, back up. I was reading and I didn't. Who?
America First. We want a number of Ukrainians killed in the gruesome and bloody war that, by the way, would have never happened. That's what a horrible thing is going on over there. Yet.
Yeah, he's upset because the Russians are losing.
Biden and the radical Democrats do nothing at all to stop the death and devastation caused by this invasion into our country. Since the end of the Trump administration, the drug cartels have seen their revenue skyrocket by an astounding 2,500%. Would you say that's a lot?
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about? Also, you mean since COVID, when everything was shut down, even for fucking drug dealers?
From $500 million a year, and we were bringing it down. We had the best years in 31 years on stopping drugs, stopping human trafficking, and all other things.
No, you didn't. COVID did.
But they went up 2,500%, and it's...
Everything went up 2,000% from the bottom. This motherfucker thinks that if you if you're 6 feet tall and you climb out of a 10-foot hole, you've grown 4 feet. You are now 4 feet taller than you were. Better duck your head when you're going through a door.
It's now a $13 billion a year industry. Can you believe it? It's like an industry.
It is. It's kind of like an industry. I mean, they have factories and distribution and that kind of stuff. And drugs were never like that before.
The choice this election is very simple. Democrats will defund the police. Republicans will defund the cartels. And we were doing that.
No, you weren't. And you'll beat police officers. We've seen you do it.
Under my leadership, we waged war on the cartels. We ended catch and release. We stopped asylum fraud, and we threw illegal.
Yeah, by the way, you can't say you stopped asylum fraud when you were stopping asylum claims entirely, because if you stop all asylum claims that are legit, you're obviously going to catch the fraud, but you don't get points for that because you're denying people who actually have genuine asylum claims. There is a myriad of analogies, some of them untoward. I will skip past them and continue.
Illegal alien gang members out of our country by the tens of thousands, and we got their countries to accept them. They wouldn't take them under the previous administration. We've
covered this lie so many fucking times.
I'm too excited. I said, how much do we pay those countries? 3 countries. You know the countries.
Tell us. We know, but you tell us. We want to know that you know.
Sir, it's $750 million a year. I said, tell them we're not paying them anymore unless they take them back. And they said, sir, we'd love to take them back. Nobody's ever asked us quite that way. Not quite that way. We built hundreds of miles of border wall, and despite 2.5 years of Democrat lawsuits to stop it,
Democrats did not want Donald Trump to be the first president since the 1800s to give American territory to Mexico.
Won all of them, and we got it built. We completely finished our original plan and then added much more wall and almost...
This is this, by the way, I mean, we brought this up a couple of times, but I'd like to, this is in line with like a series of lies. This is like a collect all 5 form of lying that he's doing, which is, I was going to get us out of Afghanistan with dignity and respect, but we were going to stay in Afghanistan. Now it's, I finished the wall, but there was still more wall I wanted to do because it was finished, but I was going to finish more than I finished.
Almost got that finished too. 3 weeks they could have had it finished. In 3
By the way, I guess 3 weeks is the new time limit.
2 weeks, think of it, could have been completed, and that's when I realized something's wrong, because they didn't want to do it. I said, what is going on?
Well, Mexico was supposed to pay for it, and they didn't want to have to write a check for it. And you said, you promised, you ran on Mexico paying. Who's going to pay for it? Mexico, 100%. That was his call and answer segment. Turned out to be bullshit.
Thanks to the open borders policies of the radical Democrats, every day American communities suffer the spilling of innocent blood and the killing of innocent life. Earlier this year, an illegal alien criminal was sentenced for brutally stabbing to death a 33-year-old man and leaving his body in a hotel room in Cedar Rapids. Beautiful Cedar Rapids.
Beautiful Cedar Rapids. Also, shitty mic quality. Hang on one second. Here you go. Honduran man, Victorio Diaz Barrera. This is what he's talking about. And of course, this is what, okay. Honduran man convicted in fatal stabbing at hotel. After serving a 10-year Iowa sentence, he will be deported. So the plan in Iowa is to give this guy 3 hots and a cot for a decade and then deport him. Sister of Cedar Rapids man fatally stabbed by a Honduran man last year said Monday that her brother died. It was one of the worst days of her life. Since they told me the bad news that he was killed, ever since that day, my life hasn't been the same because they took my only brother that cared about me. Belicia Velazquez Huerta said in a written victim impact statement that was submitted to the court for the sentencing of Victoriano Diaz Barrera. Velazquez Huerta said her brother, Victor Huerta, has always made happy despite his own problems. He was always joked, made her laugh. Okay, now he isn't there. I've fallen into strong depression. Diaz-Barrera, 40, originally was charged with first-degree murder, going armed with an intent and assault while displaying a dangerous weapon. He pleaded guilty Monday to a lesser charge of voluntary manslaughter and was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Through a court interpreter, Diaz-Barrera, during the plea hearing, admitted to stabbing and killing Huerta, 33, last year, as the result of a sudden, violent, and irresistible passion resulting from being provoked. According to a criminal complaint, witnesses said Huerta and Diaz-Barrera were in an argument April 4th, 2021, in a room at the Residence Inn, 1900 Dodge Road, Northeast in Cedar Rapids. The argument escalated when Diaz-Barrera armed himself with a knife and plunged his knife into Huerta's chest, causing his death. The first responders attempted to help Huerta, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. Yeah, I guess. Police said several people were in the hotel room at the time of the stabbing. One of them, 29-year-old Anthony Diaz, was wanted for murder in Texas. Diaz-Barrera, during the sentencing, said through an interpreter that his intention was to defend himself. He didn't want to kill Huerta. Todd Weimer, Diaz-Barrera's lawyer, said he believed this man was an impassioned moment during an altercation, and his client didn't have the time to step back and think about what was happening. After his plea, he'll be deported. He left Honduras to get away from the violence, ironically, and wanted to come to this country to work hard and provide for his family. First assistant attorney said the prosecution didn't take the plea agreement lightly. It's the result in light of facts and circumstances of the case. So they pled him down because there's a bunch of funky shit going on in that hotel room, and there was an argument going on, and there's an argument about the witnesses and whether they're trustworthy and who started the fight and blah, blah, blah. And then, but what Trump wants you to think is that an illegal immigrant, apropos of nothing, came to a hotel room and stabbed an American just because he was jealous.
We have great memories of Cedar Rapids, but that's a real bad thing. Real.
Thanks, man. Thanks. That's it's the poetry that I appreciate. It's just this depth of caring and understanding. He can't even talk about a dude being fucking stabbed to death in Cedar Rapids without bringing up that we did great in Cedar Rapids. We have a lot of good memories because they voted for me. Fucking hell.
Really bad. In the sanctuary city of Chicago, an illegal alien was recently arrested for savagely shooting an innocent 41-year-old father in the head at point blank range and didn't think anything of it, like nothing happened.
Oh my God. Someone was so shocked that it blew one of the flags off. Do you guys hear the flagpole bouncing? Everybody's looking at it. Some big pole just fell.
And just weeks ago, an illegal alien was sentenced for stabbing a New York City police officer in the neck and stealing his gun to shoot other police officers, which he did. He went on a rampage. When Republicans retake control of Congress,
there will be no more illegal aliens ever, even though the dude, let's see, when did Barrera, let's see, Victoriano Diaz-Barrera, when did he enter the country? That would be let's see, we got an argument, because it doesn't say when he got in the country. He was arrested, faced a charge of first-degree murder. Police said several other people in the hotel, one of them 20-year-old Anthony Diaz, who was wanted for murder, so when they came to the scene, they arrested this dude who had a warrant for murder, who was hanging out. It doesn't say when Victoriano Diaz-Barrera came to the country, so I'm just going to, until information points another way, I'm just going to assume, since we're making giant waving assumptions here, that it happened during Trump, and I'm sticking to that until he can prove otherwise.
Must immediately force.
Every single one of the illegal aliens that he cites in this all entered the country during his term. Just saying. Prove me wrong.
The restoration of every single Trump border security measure that achieved the strongest border.
Yes, including COVID. We got to rescind vaccination and make sure.
In the history of our country by far. Right?
Right? Yeah, sure. Why not?
Instead of doubling the number of IRS agents, we should double the number of ICE and Border Patrol agents.
That would be a budget question for Mitch McConnell, who you said don't increase the debt ceiling. So impossible. You're welcome.
That was a great.
By the way, you're watching HAL Sparks Mega Worldwide. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Give a thumbs up. Support the show in any way that you can. I'm going through this whole thing. I'm hunkering in. You don't have to stick around. We normally don't have to cover all this shit. So I'm just going to fuck it. Let's do it. Oh, and I've got it. My window is because I have a new camera here. Hold on. Oh, that's the wrong one. Hold on. Go back to here. I was going to do the giant screen, but you don't need that. You don't need that in your life.
Great people, Border Patrol, ICE, and they don't get the kind of respect, and neither does law enforcement.
Especially during things like January 6th.
Have to give law enforcement back what they do. They do it better than anybody else.
Yes, give back law enforcement what they do.
Let's give them the respect that they deserve. These are incredible.
We do. We respect law enforcement that do their job, and we don't respect the Derek Chauvins of the world. That's how respect actually works.
People, I met a lot of them backstage, and they're very thankful.
How did they show their gratitude?
I get every one of them. They endorse us. They know exactly what's going on, and we were doing things on crime that nobody thought were possible. But
that's true. Nobody thought that level of crime would come out of the White House since Nixon got booted.
We're going to have to think about doing it again very shortly, aren't we, huh? We should pass legislation to deport every illegal alien that Joe Biden is unlawfully allowed to break into our country. And we're going to make America great again.
Because there's not a law already to deport people who come into the country illegally?
We first have to...
Yeah, the quality of this audio is top notch.
To make America safe again.
So true. It's in my thing. Shouldn't that be at the end? Am I done already?
You can't walk down a sidewalk in Chicago, get hit over the head with a baseball bat from behind and say, gee, we live in a wonderful place. And that.
Well, no, obviously, because you'd be unconscious. Secondly, you can walk down. People in Iowa go to Chicago with some regularity. I'm just saying.
That's what's happening. People, you see, they're being shoved into subway trains coming along 40 miles an hour. Boom. A man shoved right into the train. These people, it's a horrible, horrible thing. Nobody.
Yeah, it's a horrible thing when someone gets shoved in front of a train. Those aren't illegal immigrants doing that.
Nobody's ever seen anything like what's happening now.
Those aren't immigrants of any sort doing that.
Now, nobody's ever seen it because they're not respecting law and order.
Well, I wonder, I guess fish stinks from the head, and this shit started when you were in office, so.
With our police, when we give them back their tools, and you know what the tools are? It's up here. The tools is nobody can do it better than them.
Wait, we took their brains away? What kind of Wizard of Oz horse shit?
You'll have law and order again. You'll have respect. You have to respect the police. Right now, if a policeman speaks a little bit loudly, he loses his family, he loses his house, he loses his pension. We're not doing that anymore.
Yeah, it's amazing. We're going to get rid of the thing that isn't fucking happening. Yeah, cops aren't allowed to shout, apparently.
We're not doing that anymore.
No, we're not. We're not going to fire. We're going to only hire police officers from NPR now. Everyone will just, good afternoon. We are here to serve a warrant right after this word from our sponsor, Gut Milk.
Radical left Democrats, the streets of our cities are ruled by bloodthirsty gangs and violent criminals.
Yeah, I can't go anywhere. It's terrible. Have you guys been outside lately? It's a fucking hellscape. It looks like the first 2 minutes of Terminator.
Much of the crime wave is caused by drug dealers who, during the course of their lives,
I thought it was illegal immigrants. I mean, you've cited immigrants who've murdered 3 people in the country, in a country of 340 million people, by the way. And you've cited 3 people. So what What would you say to like randomly, just for balance, bring up some locals who did some murdering? Let's see. Cedar. How about this dude? Why don't you bring this dude up? Trial for Cedar Rapids man accused of killing his family could be delayed. You know, justice delayed is justice denied. Lawyers may have a scheduling conflict with another murder case. All right. Lawyers for 21-year-old Cedar Rapids man accused in the slaying of his parents and sister last year may ask the court for a new trial date because of scheduling conflicts. The trial for Alexander Ken Jackson, a former University of Iowa student, was scheduled on September 20th, but one of his lawyers and a prosecutor in the case have a conflict with another murder trial that was just reset to September 20th because the defendant demanded a speedy trial. Tyler Johnstone, one of Jackson's lawyers, asked the 6th Judicial District Chief Lars Anderson if he could adjust dates or assign a different judge for the other murder trial so Jackson's trial could remain in September. Johnson says he's still set up depositions in Jackson's case and may still ask for a delay. Anderson denied the defense's request to move the trial out of Linn County because of extensive pretrial publicity. He ruled the media coverage hasn't been pervasive and inflammatory, as the defense argued. Jackson is charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder. He's accused of killing his father. By the way, the illegal immigrant, so said, that he cited, which was in a room full of dudes where a fight broke out and the guy stabbed the other guy, and there was another murderer in the room at the time. That's what he brings up, that a bunch of sort of murderous dudes hang out. No, the victim in this case, innocent, did not deserve to die, but certainly not a situation likened to this one, which Trump strangely isn't bringing up, which just fucking happened. Charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder. He's accused of killing his father, Jan Jackson, his mother, Melissa Jackson, and his sister, Sabrina Jackson, 19. Police were called 8:30 a.m., June 15, 2021, to the Jackson home and found the 3 family members had been fatally shot, according to the criminal complaint. Jackson, then 20, told police he had been awakened by gunfire and was shot in the foot as he struggled over a rifle with a masked intruder. Investigators found no evidence of forced entry. They discovered a .22 caliber Browning semi-automatic rifle in the home the police think is the murder weapon. Jackson said he and his father had left it on the fireplace after cleaning it the night before. Here you go. Teen accused of killing teacher struggled in her class. Mom says Iowa City man sentenced to 22 years for sex trafficking. This isn't okay. An Iowa City man who's convicted of recruiting several women for sex trafficking and being a felon in possession of a firearm was sentenced last week to 22 years in federal prison. Kachimbe Mukanzu, 35, a native of Zambia, was indicted on 14 counts. Previously pleaded in U.S. District Court to 2 counts of conspiracy to engage in sex trafficking by force, fraud, and coercion, 2 counts of felon in possession of a firearm, and 1 count of sex trafficking by force, fraud, and coercion. Known as Cash. Oh, I can see why he didn't bring him up. This is the same nickname as one of Trump's favorite dudes. Met a woman named Sienna Ellen Cabbage, also known as Nellie Cabbage, then a college student on a dating app, started a relationship, later lived together, taught her how to use an escort website and then Backpage.com and other sites to set up profiles for the victims. Advertised sex acts provide the victims with drugs so they could work round the clock. Jesus Christ. So I don't know why you didn't bring up those dudes.
Will kill an average of 500.
Oh, this is the drug dealers will kill an average of 500 people, which is not even fucking close to true. Like coke dealers or heroin dealers, you could make an argument that their body count can be fairly high. Meth dealers, for example, but weed dealers are going to blow a hole in this fucking average every time.
American citizen. So you have a drug dealer, he or she, over the course of their life, they'll kill 500 people with drugs. And I'm calling for the death penalty.
By that, they're extrapolating that to somebody's on drugs who murders somebody else, somebody who dies of a drug overdose, somebody who dies prematurely because they were a drug user and therefore shortened their life. This is such a fucking reach. Yeah, totally, Karma. Well said. Nowhere does he bring up, like, I don't know, the fucking Sackler family, Purdue Pharmaceuticals. You want to talk about a death count? This motherfucker would hang with those guys in a heartbeat.
For drug dealers and human traffickers, which will, upon its passage, reduce drug distribution.
Oh, this is the death penalty.
And crime the first day by 75%.
Again, nonsense.
Crime will go down because so much of our crime is caused by these people. You go to places like China and many.
Oh, motherfucker. If he goes into, do you have drug problem? No, no have drug problem.
Many. I don't want to get into it because.
Yeah, don't tell the story again. We've heard it.
I don't want to be too controversial, but you go to China, you go to Singapore, you go to.
No, you don't. None of these fucking people go to China or Singapore. I've been to China. I haven't been to Singapore, but not because I wouldn't.
In many countries where they have the death penalty, they have no drug problem whatsoever.
Yes, they do. They have a drug problem in spite of the death penalty. That's the most shocking part. They'll kill people for dealing drugs, even if they're innocent. Too late. Sorry. No take backsies.
Drug dealer says, no, let's go to the United States, a much nicer way to live. No, we have to do it.
Yeah, no, we're not importing drug dealers because they like to deal drugs because it's just it's like a hobby that they've turned into a vocation. And this is this is a land of milk and honey and opportunity for anybody, any young entrepreneur. If your thing is dealing drugs, this is the place to come do it. Motherfucker, they come here and get a real job. They deal drugs in those countries because it's an easy way to make money and stay where they are.
Not that we want to do it. Nobody wants to talk about that. But if we're going to have a country, we're going to have to do it.
First of all, if you don't want to do it, don't bring it up or say you're going to pass a bill. What the fuck are you talking about?
We have no choice. With the Republic,
we have no choice but to make dealing drugs a capital offense at every level. So weed dealers, anybody. So Tim Allen, but for like the passage of time, would be fucking dead right now.
Republican Congress, we must also pass critical funding to hire thousands more police officers nationwide to put.
You're already late. Biden's already okayed $100,000, the funding for 100,000 more police.
Put violent criminals behind bars and to keep them behind bars. And I see all those incredible people back there. Are they allowed to move up here in front of the fake news? I mean, there's thousands of people. Can they be allowed? Come on.
Yeah, fill in the empty areas in the audience. Why are you guys behind the racks? Like, he's basically pointing out the fact that the area in front of him has a lot of gaps in it, and the people milling about bored in the background, now they all have to jam in.
Look at all of them. They go so far you can't even see. And
yeah, you can't even see them because they're not there.
And, you know, I think they could let some people up here. In fact, it'll make you a little bit warmer, you know? You'll be a little closer together. If they can,
stop panning,
and I see some great police officers back. If they could, let those people come forward. It would be great.
Yeah, so the people jammed in on the right side, they'll let them forward. And the parts behind them, behind the are empty because they've got, I guess, power and other shit that's right here.
Family. We're all a big family. Yeah, let them come.
By the way, yeah, we're a big family. Look at this area back here. Like right back here, just nothing. Just empty.
Look, they go so far back
that you can actually see exactly where they end.
And it always angers me when we give the fake news a better position than the people.
It's not the fake news, fucko. It's RSBN and whoever the local affiliate is. The fuck's wrong with you? Those are his own cameras.
Oh, way back.
You know, yeah, give RSBN the finger. Threaten them. Like, well, that makes sense.
So they have these lenses today.
They have these lenses. So they have they could do this from a mile away.
They have these telescopic lenses, Kim, that they can be back another 100 yards and people can enjoy it more. Would you let them back in? Come on, let them get up. If you want safety for your family and security for your community, you need to throw every Democrat the hell out of office and vote for Republicans up and down the line. One of the worst and most sinister aspects of the Biden administration is their complete and total corruption of our justice system and the
the rule of law, because they're coming after him.
Rule of law.
They're coming after your favorite president for nothing. This woman, she's so racist.
Before our very eyes, Biden and his left-wing handlers are turning America.
That's the whole thing about, like, Biden's a master criminal, head of a giant international crime conglomerate, but he's also a doddering fool who can't finish a sentence and is slow and old and slow and old and old and slow.
Into a police state like something straight out of a communist country. The radical Democrats.
Yeah, you know, in those communist countries where they make people stand behind railings and in certain sections, and then they're forced to show ID, and you can't even bring a gun anywhere you want.
They're locking up pro-life activists.
No, they're not. They're locking up violent criminals. Whether what the fuck they do is a hobby, bothering people trying to exercise their right to medical privacy does not pertain to the argument at all.
Persecuting their political opponents. Nobody can believe this is happening, Kim.
So that's because it's not.
It's happening at a level that nobody can believe.
Because it's not happening, and therefore, you can't believe in the tooth fairy for the same reason.
They even raided Mar-a-Lago. Can you believe it?
No, they didn't.
Raided Mar-a-Lago.
No, they didn't.
Tell you what I'd like to do.
What would you like to do?
Spying on their political rivals.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, tough guy. What would you like to do? I'd like to raid them. Is that where he was going? Which is fucking gibberish anyways, but...
Silencing dissent and using the full force of government, law enforcement, and the media to try and defeat the greatest movement in the history of our country. MEGA.
It's one of the greatest movements.
MAGA. Biden's really been going after MAGA lately. He says, MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. You know, MAGA...
What does he say?
Is called Make America Great Again. Okay.
No, it isn't. Make America Great Again as a slogan is called MAGA because it's the exact fucking opposite, dunce.
Okay, you know, somebody should explain that. Just this week in Pennsylvania, Supreme Court ruled, in effect, that the 2020 presidential election was rigged. You saw this, just happened this week.
What?
This week in Pennsylvania, Supreme Court ruled, in effect, that the 2020 presidential election was rigged. You saw this, just happened this week. They stated that the things that took place with the ballots in 2020 were not allowed. They weren't allowed. Oh, good. That means we won, right? No. But they refused to rule against invalidating the election. But they said, but in the future, they say these fraudulent acts, election irregularities and infractions cannot be done anymore. That's wonderful. Isn't that a terrible thing? So they agree that it was rigged now. And by the way, Wisconsin, so
no, they don't.
Many states are now finding this thing was rigged. But think of it. So Pennsylvania, Kim, you wouldn't let this happen. So
yeah, but how does Jeff feel about it?
Pennsylvania rules and strongly that, okay, it was wrong. And by the way, far more votes than needed for victory. Very close. I was up almost 1 million votes at 10 o'clock in the evening with 73%
Yeah, when they didn't count half the fucking state.
Of the vote in. Then all of a sudden, boom, it's a disgrace what's going on between the
He should use the word disgrace.
Borders in the elections. In other words, I was right and the court admitted that, but
no, they didn't.
They say it only matters for future elections. The number of votes discussed, as I just said, was far more than needed to win.
Well, technically speaking, there were a lot of votes that were in question. All of them, of course, were Trump votes that were fake or fraudulent. Hold on 1 second. I've got to do this thing.
What?
Yeah, it's true. And Trump tried desperately to throw the election by paying for large groups of votes. Yeah, it's true. In Pennsylvania and Wisconsin and Michigan, but he was told by somebody that if you pay, if you get 3 million votes, then that'll be enough and you'll win and don't worry about it anymore. And he tried to win it on the cheap.
What?
Yeah, it's true. I heard that.
And this was only in one form of cheating. This was one form of cheating.
Yeah, there was lots. Don't forget the Dominion Bank shot into Spain, counting votes in German.
So many. There's so many you can almost not count. This is a very unfair thing to...
You can almost not count. I mean, you'd need, I don't know, like machines, like voting machines to do the counting.
Your favorite president, but what the hell? I've been treated so unfairly.
Boo-hoo.
What the hell difference does it make at this point?
Right, yeah, it doesn't. It makes no difference. You're fucked. Go away.
No, your favorite president.
Jimmy Carter?
Your favorite president, excuse me to all those young people, your favorite president got screwed. That's what happened.
I agree, because Obama should have gotten a third term. I'm normally I'm for term limits, but sorry, Marcus. So douchey.
Thank you very much. It's true.
It's so true. It's true. You do love Trump. It's so true. It's true when you say you love Trump, and you so do. It's a wonderful land of happy, happy, where we all dream that we won the election, even though we didn't. Happy, happy.
Thank you very much. That's very...
Thank you for saying USA. I know that means Trump in another language.
Very nice. Thank you very much.
So thank you so much. And P.S. Go fuck yourself.
No, it's a sad thing because look what's happened to our country in 2 years. Look, nobody can even believe what's happened to our country.
Yes, not from your telling, because apparently I haven't been outside on the streets of Chicago without being hit with a bat. Maybe this is all a dreamy dream.
Every freedom-loving...
It is a dreamy dream. I was hit in the head with a bat in Chicago walking down the street when Sexy Liberal was performing there. And this is like, I'm like, it's like the Who Shot JR storyline. It never really happened.
America needs to understand the time to stand up, to get this whole thing right, and to stop the left-wing tyranny is right now.
Right now.
So if you want to save your rights and liberties, you have to start by dealing a really big and humiliating rebuke to the radical left this election coming up right now. So Tuesday, you have to crush the communists and go out to the ballot box. And you know, I used to say socialism, right? They've skipped over socialism. The socialism is that was just a little way station, right?
It was a way station. Well, technically speaking, I think it was Lenin and Stalin both believed you can't get to communism except through socialism. That's the trajectory. It's why it's never worked, both of them.
Jeff, they've gone much.
Fucking Jeff again. Hey, and that's why now we know Jeff's an expert on communism. He sits down close and holds up cue cards that say the communism thing. Right. Thanks, Jeff.
It's further than that. This is terrible.
Fucking Jeff, am I right?
What's happening is terrible.
Ask Kim what Jeff thinks, and Jeff will talk to Kim, and Kim will talk to Jeff. We don't know who the fuck.
Well, we got to stop it. For 6 straight years, the witch hunts, hoaxes, and abuses have been coming fast and furious like nobody's ever seen before.
Well, you never ran before, dummy, so you got to crime under the radar in New York where people just let that shit slide. You should have never stuck your head up if you didn't want to experience whack-a-mole, fucko.
And they'll finish one, the Adam Schiffs of the world, right? Adam Schiff. Shifty Schiff.
Head like a watermelon, blah, 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 yeah.
And you win, you keep winning, you win, but it takes time and effort and everything, but you win. 2 weeks later, they come up with another hoax, right?
Well, who gives a shit if you were winning then? What were you winning? What was the win? Oh yeah, COVID shut everything down and stopped people from noticing that we were heading into a recession in the end of 2019, and you were arguing that the Fed should have below zero interest rates so that literally the American people could pay to print their own fucking money.
Come up with the document hoax, or they come up with any one of them.
The document hoax. It wasn't a hoax, fucko. This fucking pictures. You said you have them.
Russia. First we learned they spied on my campaign. Remember?
No, they didn't.
Can you imagine if we spied on Biden's campaign?
Yeah, you wouldn't find anything. It'd be boring as shit.
Or Obama's campaign.
Also, you'd be bored to fucking tears.
It would be like, let's wheel out the electric chair, right?
Yeah, that's they would have done like you placed listening devices and all you heard was people ordering from Starbucks.
They spy on my campaign, meaning a Republican, but me in particular, because
Because you're not really a Republican.
Trump derangement syndrome. They don't like me. And they don't like me because nobody's ever done what we've done. What we've done.
Oh, you mean like literally bragged about grabbing women by the pussy and then telling Chris Matthews that women who get abortions should be punished, and then putting people on the Supreme Court that you had no right to put on the Supreme Court that will deny women those rights and guarantee that women will be put in jail for exercising the right to medical privacy and getting an abortion if they need one. You mean that stuff? You're right. Nobody's ever done that shit. I mean, not for decades.
For this country, including those tax cuts, which they cannot seem to, they want to double up and triple up your taxes. They have not been able to break through. They have not been able to do it.
Yeah, it must be, it's not for a lack of actually trying, though.
But they do want,
which they haven't.
Want to do it, and they have.
By the way, they unless these people are billion-dollar corporations, in which the Biden administration got through a 15% baseline tax for billion-dollar corporations. Just saying, for the record.
Actually raised some taxes, but we gave you the biggest tax cut in history, and we're very.
Wait, did he say? What was that?
And they don't like me because nobody's ever done what we've done. What we've done for this country, including those tax cuts, which they cannot seem to, they want to double up and triple up your taxes. They have not been able to break through. They have not been able to do it. Mm-hmm. But they do want to do it, and they have actually raised some taxes. But we gave you the biggest tax cut in history, and we're very.
No, you didn't. Their tax cut was temporary. The people there, I mean, he's at a regional airport, so there's probably some private plane owners there that got a permanent one. Motherfucker, did I hit the button? Shit.
Don't tell. I'm going to get seasick.
Hold on.
And it always angers me when we give the fake news a better position. The 2020 presidential election was rigged. You saw it. By the way, Wisconsin, so many states are now finding this thing was rigged.
No, they aren't.
But think of it. So Pennsylvania, Kim, you wouldn't let this happen.
No.
So Pennsylvania rules, and strongly, that, okay, it was wrong. And by the way, far more votes. There's so many you can almost not count.
Yeah, we saw that part. Okay.
Right? They've skipped over socialism.
Right,
socialism is that was just a little waste station. Right, Jeff? They've got.
Hi. What? Hold on one second. There's a food order happening, and I've got to work it. Hold on one second. The 3, 2, 1. Look at this. Give me 1 second. Yep. So hold on 1 second. Coming back. Don't worry about it. Let's see. Where was I? Here we go. Do you like the new Be Right Back thing? I actually put music in and everything. All right, here we go. This is, where were we? This dumbass was talking about communism.
And much further than that.
No, they haven't. And we don't even have it. All right. Even the people who like socialism have to know at this point that we don't have socialism in this country at fucking all. We have normal democratic taxation. We have a representative government that through your electing of whoever you want running your district or your state or what have you, takes the funds that they take in through taxes and directs them in a way that the electorate of that particular state or that particular district, the majority of which want it to go. So if we build up a program, even when we create Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, those kind of things, that is not socialism. We don't have people on Social Security don't go to Social Security medical facilities. People on Medicare and Medicaid don't go to government hospitals instead of going to private ones. It's just dumb. We have just because something has the word social in it doesn't mean it's socialism. Like social media sites aren't socialism. Fuck. The military's nope. The military doesn't count either. It is a subset. The VA is specifically, again, we have decided as taxpayers that we have a military and certain people will be paid on behalf of all of us to go fight wars and do shit like that. And those people, as a benefit, will receive certain care. But if you're outside of that, you don't. You can't. Americans can't go to the VA, those facilities. And now Thanks to Obama in 2014, people can go outside the VA system and not go to a VA facility. They go to a private facility if it's closer to their house and it's cheaper. So, yeah, Truth Social is not socialism. It's silly.
It's terrible. What's happening is terrible, and we got to stop it. For 6 straight years.
Again, like, I just call it communism. We got to stop it. It's terrible because it's terrible. I call it that. I don't even know what the fuck
The
he's
witch
talking
hunts,
about.
hoaxes, and abuses have been coming fast and furious like nobody's ever seen before.
Has anybody seen anything like this before? I mean, I watched All the President's Men again a little while ago. We love socialism. No, we don't. No, we don't. It's a dead system, just like communism, just like the idea of capitalism. People talk about capitalism as like it's still based on resource capitalism from the fucking 1700s. None of these words mean anything in the modern society. I'm telling you. You might as well, fuck, what's a good analogy? You might as well talk about the political parties in terms of how do they weigh against modern issues like compared to how the Whigs would have ruled.
They'll finish one, the Adam Schiffs of the world, right? Adam Schiff, Shifty Schiff. And you win, you keep winning, you win, but it takes time and effort and everything, but you win.
No, you don't, and you didn't, and I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
2 weeks later, they come up with another hoax, right? They come up with the document hoax, or they come up with any one of a lot. Russia, Russia, Russia. First, we learned they spied on my campaign. Remember, they spied. Can you imagine if we spied on
we already saw this part.
This country, including those tax cuts, which they cannot seem to, they want to double up and created the fake dossier that was done and paid for by crooked Hillary Clinton.
Nope, it was not done and paid for. She paid for it after the Washington Free Beacon had paid for it, and they hired somebody, Fusion GPS, to get Christopher Steele to put it together because the Republicans were trying to get rid of Donald Trump, and then when they decided he was going to win, they just let him go ahead and have it, and then they sold it to Hillary Clinton, who, when her team read it, went, we're not going to run with this. We think we're going to win anyways. We don't need to talk about fucking PP tapes. This is gross. We're going to win on the merits. We're not worried. The dude's a fucking clown. And so they shelved it. And Christopher Steele himself went to the FBI and went, this is fucking full of crimes. This fucker is dangerous.
Democrats, a Democrat National Committee.
National Committee?
The party itself. In conjunction, I hate to say it, because I have so many friends there, so many people that are great, in conjunction with the FBI. You like that? And yet, after all of that,
no, it wasn't in conjunction with the fucking FBI.
These same people come after me. They come after me. Trump, Trump, Trump. They created all these hoaxes, all these shams. Remember, it was Russia, Russia, Russia. Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine. And then the Mueller witch hunt where the conclusion was no collusion. Do you think?
No, it wasn't.
Biden could say that? The conclusion was no collusion. I don't.
No, he has a stutter. And it's a stupid phrase. It's not only that he might have difficulty with it because it's weird and clunky, but also, and childish, but also he wouldn't say it because it's false.
I think you'd have a hard time with that one. And then it was impeachment hoax.
By the way, that's a slam on him for having a stutter is the idea.
Number one, impeachment hoax number two, the censorship of the Biden family corruption story as the Russian disinformation, right? The FBI went to Facebook and they said, oh, this is Russian don't do anything. This is Russian disinformation on the laptop from hell. They said it was Russian disinformation. Uncle Sam, I'm telling you, he's going to pass out. He can't stand this anymore. He's hearing these things and it's driving him crazy, right?
Yeah, because you know why? Because he's been to lots of these fucking rallies. And it's the same shit every time. You're supposed to be there trying to drum up votes for the Republicans that are running next fucking week. The election is Tuesday. By the way, let me know in the chat room if you have voted or if you're planning on voting or you've got your votes sent in. I got, and let me see if I can show you this thing right here. There is oh, bless you. Somebody sent a Venmo and I wanted to see that. Somebody came in right there. Doris, thank you so much. And Sasha, thank you. And Leslie, oh my gosh, thank you. And Belicia, thank you so much as well. And Delise Christensen, thanks for the 666. I greatly appreciate it. But in the, let's see if I can find this for you. Yeah, here you go. HAL S. This is a message from the California Secretary of State on behalf of Los Angeles County Registrar of Voters. Your ballot for the November 8th, 2022 general election was received and counted. Thank you for voting. Questions? Call 800-815-2666. Hi there. Or email votebymail@rrcc.lacounty.gov. And by the way, that's preceding another message that I got that said the Postal Service has collected your ballot for the upcoming November 8 election. And then before that, this is a message from the California Secretary of State on behalf of LA County voters. Your ballot, let's say, it's the last day. This is the last day that's coming up for you to mail in your ballot is coming up, which I beat, by the way. And then this is a message from them that your ballot for the general election has been mailed to you. 4 fucking texts I've got about my ballot saying it's on its way. This is the last day. The next one said, this is the last day you can send it in coming up. And the mail picked it up and we got it. We got to stop these machines.
Uncle Sam, this was not there he goes. Bye, Sam. Now, this was not the way it was supposed to happen, Uncle Sam, right? Okay? Who would believe this? If you ever...
Dude, if that dude in the Uncle Sam outfit fucking passed out and Trump's like, what? He's looking woozy. What the fuck happened to that guy? Did he faint?
Wrote it in a novel.
And he just like wrote it into the act and moved on?
Nobody would believe it, the corruptness. But they went up to Facebook and they said, this is Russia disinformation. And you could look at that thing and that was not disinformation. Nobody could make disinformation that good.
Of course you could. It's fucking pathetic. If it wasn't disinformation, we'd know what the fucking laptop looks like. The dude who actually got it wouldn't have been the only Delaware repairman who can only see 6 inches in front of his face, couldn't pick Hunter Biden out of a lineup, doesn't and cannot identify the FBI agents that allegedly picked up the laptop. Those wouldn't have told people that those FBI agents said, guys, keep quiet about this kind of thing, probably live longer. Like they fucking threatened him and then called him back and said, if Hunter comes back to pick up his laptop, let us know, we'll drop it off, which the FBI never fucking does. These are all real points. Like multiple interviews with this fucking guy. And then it just so happens that he doesn't trust the FBI at Delaware. So he calls his dad, and his dad has a friend who knows Rudy Giuliani's attorney, and Rudy Giuliani's attorney will hook him up with the FBI. And so that's when those guys show up. And then they say, give us the laptop, everything you've got. This is what allegedly these guys say. And he does, except he keeps a copy of the hard drive for himself, which he disseminates, which allegedly, according to Rudy Giuliani, has child porn on it, because it's supposedly in some areas, we've never seen any of these pictures, but the girls look particularly young. And so therefore, John Paul McIsaac and Rudy Giuliani have made multiple copies of a hard drive containing images of an adult engaging in sex with a minor, according to them. And what did they do? Did they report it to the police and drop them off and never touch them again? Nope. They made multiple copies and passed them out. They store multiple copies at their fucking house, which is the collection and dissemination of child porn under the law. And yet, still, this was a great scheme. The one where it ends up is with Rudy Giuliani, who, by the way, sits on this fucking hard drive for something like 12 months, concocts a story that the laptop was ultimately left at Keith Ablow's house, and then he got busted for drugging and fucking his patients, so they had to come up with a new story. Ugh.
But it wasn't.
There is no Hunter Biden laptop.
True, and it made a point of, I guess it was about 17 points different. And if you think it's easy being up here with this wind, and I got these stupid teleprompters waving like a flag, you're going to...
Then just talk off the cuff, Mr. Master. You have the best words. Use them. I don't have a fucking teleprompter. I do this show. Shit, I could do his whole fucking speech at this point. What? Honest to God. Most of the people who watch this show, we could all quote it verbatim at this fucking point. What the fuck do you need? You need like 4 bullet points written on the podium.
Kim, you think this is easy doing this, don't you, huh? Don't tell her. I'm going to get seasick. I'm getting seasick. The teleprompters. I said, do you have them nice inside? Well, most of the time, the best speeches, we just give them up and we just wrap it out, right?
Yeah, just wrap it out. Go ahead. Freestyle it.
Something which doesn't work very well for Biden. No.
No, because the last couple of days there have been a lot of situations where he's been walking around with a microphone. He's doing some stuff off the teleprompter, but he's also speaking extemporaneously the rest of the time. Have we seen Trump take a microphone and walk and step away from that fucking podium while speaking ever? Ever? Because Biden does that thing. Biden insists on having a handheld mic because he does his speech and then he picks it up and they'll start like chit-chatting while he's doing or telling stories or whatever. Trump, I've never seen Trump do that anywhere. The only place we've ever seen him walk around and talk at the same time was the fucking Hillary debates.
Oh, now these suckers are moving around pretty good. I'm trying to follow them and I'm getting seasick up here. And then it was the unselect
getting seasick in Iowa.
Committee of political hacks and thugs, and also the appalling misconduct by the racist and incompetent New York State Attorney General Letitia Peekaboo James.
And by the way, peekaboo comes from a reference to another variation of a word that ends in boo and starts with a J. It's gross, it's racist. He picked it up from somebody else, and either he's pretending not to know what it really means, or he's happily using it. Secondly, she's racist because she's black, and she's only going after him because he's white.
Who is presiding over a record number of murders, rapes, drug deals, and every other form of...
She presides over them, doesn't she? Is she coordinating them all?
Crime.
She must be exhausted.
In our once great New York State, which is going to hell. It's going to hell. It's a crime-ridden, and we have a good man, Lee Zeldin. But she only spends her time going after Trump. Let's get Trump. It's good for my election. Let's get Trump. In the meantime, I mean, what's happening in New York, because we have these incompetent people, they don't even know what they're doing. They have no concept of violent crime and how to stop it. Likewise, a local...
No concept whatsoever. They have no idea of what is violent crime. I wouldn't even be able to pick it out of a lineup.
Local left-wing...
By the way, I take a lot of these topics seriously. I do not take this man seriously. So I'm not going to even I get riled up occasionally and feel the need to like dig into some facts like his border shit because it annoys me. But the majority of the time he's just talking out of his ass. He's literally making it up as he goes along.
DA in Atlanta is after me for an absolutely perfect phone call. Even better, I would say better than the Ukrainian call to the president. This one was even better. Nobody complained about it. A year later, all of a sudden they said, "Oh, that call, didn't he make a call?"
No. They complained about it the second they heard the recording, you fuck.
A perfect phone call about election integrity. I call about election integrity.
Yeah, that's what you called about. Now, you have legal channels that don't involve you trying to muscle a member of your own party who's the governor of a state and the secretary of state who's in charge of the elections to do it on your behalf. Come on, fellas. Do me a favor. Just do it.
And they said, "Oh, well, did he possibly say?" No, it was a perfect call. Better than my first perfect call, remember? They impeached me on a perfect call. Even while Atlanta is among the highest murder rates of any city in the country, by the way, per capita, higher than Chicago, and they're playing games with election integrity.
Okay, first of all, the governor and the secretary of state are not just the governor and secretary of state of the city of Atlanta. Also, let's see. Let's see. This is... let's see. The red state murder problem. Rate of murders in the U.S. has gone up at an alarming rate, but despite a media narrative to the contrary, this is a problem that afflicts Republican-run cities and states as much or more than the Democratic bastions. In 2020, per capita murder rates were over 40% higher in states won by Donald Trump than those won by Joe Biden. 8 of the 10 states with the highest murder rates in 2020 voted for a Republican presidential nominee in every election in this century. U.S. saw an alarming 30% increase in murder in 2020, while 2021 data is not yet complete. This is an older story. Murder was on the rise again in the past year. Some blue cities like Chicago, Baltimore, Philadelphia have seen real and persistent increases in homicide. These cities, along with others like Los Angeles, New York, and Minneapolis, are also in places with wall-to-wall media coverage and national media interest. But there's a large piece of the homicide story that is missing, and calls into question the veracity of the right-wing obsession over homicides in Democratic cities. Murder rates are far higher in Trump-voting red states than Biden-voting blue states. And sometimes murder rates are highest in cities with Republican mayors. For example, Jacksonville, a city with a Republican mayor, had 128 more murders in 2020 than did San Francisco, a city with a Democratic mayor, despite their comparable populations. In fact, the homicide rate in Speaker Pelosi's San Francisco was half that of House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy's Bakersfield, city with a Republican mayor that overwhelmingly voted for Trump. Yet there is barely a whisper, let alone an outcry, of these stunning levels of murders in these and other places. Whoops. There we go.
All of these local Democrat-run cases are being directed by Washington. We have a weaponized Department of Justice, a weaponized FBI, including, of course, the break-in, the famous break-in.
No, it's not a break-in. They didn't fucking break in. They didn't even raid the place. They showed up with a warrant. The door was open. They didn't break fucking anything. They got into the safe, I suppose. Is that what you mean?
But it is a nice house, you have to say.
It's not a fucking house.
And they really violated my Fourth Amendment rights.
No, they didn't. They dotted all of the I's and crossed all the T's.
It's a big deal. Fourth Amendment, Kim, you know.
Yeah, what is it? Tell them what the Fourth Amendment means. Describe. Yeah, big. It says Fourth Amendment right here. You know, and that's huge. Huge Fourth Amendment. You know, I wasn't quartering soldiers at Mar-a-Lago, and even if I was, that's because we support our great veterans. Am I right?
They ever did that to your house? Well, they wouldn't do it because you're in Iowa. They wouldn't have the courage to do that in Iowa.
I think that's a reference to the fact that people in Iowa would be packing guns and they would shoot back. Again, why didn't this fucker have a house in Iowa?
Radical left. The radical left thinks by doing all of these wicked and venomous things, and they are really horrible.
They are so wicked and so venomous.
That they're making us weaker, when in actuality, they are making us all more unified, and they're making us all much stronger, right? MAGA. MAGA. You look good. You look good. There's a handsome guy. He's got a MAGA. That hat is a hot seller, let me tell you. They're coming after me because I'm fighting for you. Remember that.
No. They're not trying to get these people for lying to banks about how much their properties are worth and lying to the IRS that they're not worth shit.
Coming after me because I'm fighting for you. To every citizen who is appalled by the radical left's lawlessness, and it's unbelievable what they're doing.
Yes, it's not believable coming from you.
What they're doing is unbelievable.
It isn't believable. It's horrible and not believable.
Hard to believe, even
It's hard to believe. It is hard to believe anything you're fucking saying at this point. Like, it's weird that he says these words like a fucking tick.
Rights. I was saying the other day I was with a group. We're gonna.
Unbelievable. Definitely unbelievable. Definitely not believable. Definitely nothing I say is believable. Definitely not believable. Fart.
Stand up for parents. Who the hell ever thought we were going to have to stand up for parents? Can you imagine? You're up here. I guess.
Dude, he didn't even change his own kids' diapers. He didn't ever want to give a shit about parenting.
That's what politicians.
That's women's work, right?
I never felt like a politician, but I'm saying we will stand up for you, parents. And then I say, can you imagine we have to actually say that, Kim? Right? Even say it, but this.
It's a sales point. You don't mean it.
This election is...
Yeah, don't worry about it, dummy. Nobody expects you to actually mean it.
This is your chance to make your voice heard. This is a big deal. With your vote, you can reject left-wing tyranny and proudly declare that America will always remain a free country.
Unless you're a woman, of course, in which case your decision about what to do with your body should be between you, your doctor, and local political hacks.
You could take the 5 worst presidents in American history and put them together.
Oh, my God. And they would form Voltron Trump.
They would not have done the damage Joe Biden has done to our nation in...
That's true, because he hasn't. And being the 5 worst, including this asshole, there would have been a lot of damage.
Less than 2 short years. Here's a clip. Does anyone want to see a little clip on a nice, expensive monitor? Here it is.
How would you say your mental focus is?
Bad. So,
What?
By the way, that's him trying to find, like, they use that picture all the time too. He was answering Steve Doocy and he's trying not to call him a motherfucker. He calls him a stupid son of a bitch later on, like about a week later after that clip. But he's like, okay, fuck me. Like, basically, he's trying not to act like I do during a lot of these clips. Also, like, you don't think somebody can put together a Trump, like, hold on.
They say a wall is medieval. Well, so is a wheel. A wheel is older than a wall. Although she does have a very nice figure. I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know?
Stop it! Oh, it's so weird.
I went to an Ivy League school. I'm very highly educated. I know words. I have the best words.
We now have a gun on every table. We're ready to start shooting. June of 1775, the Continental Congress created a unified army. Our army manned the air. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. The kidney has a very special place in the heart. It's an incredible thing. You know what uranium is, right? It's a thing called nuclear weapons and other things. Like, lots of things are done with uranium, including some bad things. And then I see the disinfectant, where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? I don't care how sick you are. I don't care if you just came back from the doctor and he gave you the worst possible prognosis, meaning it's over. Hang out till November 8th. Get out and vote.
He's not a war hero.
He's a war hero.
He's a war hero.
5.5 years.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay?
I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible.
Enrique?
It's a big thing. A lot of people waiting.
Introducing President Kenya.
Hello?
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, fellas.
For all peoples. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like him a lot.
Thank you, everybody. Mr. President, you need to sign.
I'm only signing it because it costs nothing.
What an asshole. Anyways, so yeah, like, should we just want to see a clip, a well-produced clip, everyone? All right. So he was able to cut together 8-second moments from multiple Biden speeches. No one would ever be able to do that with a Trump speech. Fuck, you could do a segment that long, like the one he showed, with one of his fucking speeches.
So it is sad, and it's not really anything that's funny, because our world is in a very dangerous place with nuclear weapons, and it's the first time I've ever heard such talk about nuclear. You know,
What the fuck are you talking about? Let me know in the chat if you lived through the 80s. What the fuck is he talking about? Maybe this has to do with just like absolute privilege in his fucking life.
Nuclear word was never a word that's supposed to even be discussed.
The nuclear word was never a word that was even supposed to be discussed. No, it's supposed to be discussed so you don't use it.
And now every day, a certain country is mentioning it, and now another country, as you know, North Korea, we got along very well. That was supposed to be a big war. If I wasn't elected, that would have been a war. He expected to have war.
Yeah, we would have had that war before he developed 8 more nukes.
Tremendous nuclear capability, and Russia mentioning it all the time now. It would have never happened.
No.
But we could end up in a third world war because of what's going on, the stupidity of what's being said. And
yeah, well, tell them what you should say. I mean, that'll solve it, right? Too cold for blacks for Trump? I think it's just too Iowa.
It's a very serious problem.
That's a long trip for him. The dude's in New Jersey or some shit.
It really is. We have somebody leading us that should not be leading us. We could end up in World War III, and World War III will blow everything away because World War III has nuclear weapons like nobody's ever seen and other things.
Yeah. You think it's bad. Wait till you see what happens after the nukes are set. Then they're really going to use the stuff that they're going to release.
And we can't let...
People like sticks and stones and hammers and muskets.
That happened. But we could very well end up in World War III. Under my leadership...
You just wanted to say World War III a bunch of times?
We had, for the first time, American energy independence and even energy dominance. Now, Biden...
We still do.
Biden is begging and pleading...
Because it was started because of the shale revolution, which occurred before.
...meeting with OPEC, but instead of increasing production, they're cutting it. How about this? Oil per barrel reaches an all-time high in the history of our world. And he announces, we're not going to drill anymore. No, when it reaches that, you got to drill. We could have cut taxes. We could have made so much money. Anwar in Alaska, which the first day they ended, took 60 years. I got it done. Nobody else could get it done.
You didn't get it done because it didn't get done. If you got it approved and then the electorate said, fuck you, because you tried to do it, that's a sign that we didn't want it done. That was yet another reason why people voted against Trump.
They got it done and they ended it. Bigger than Saudi.
They ended it before it started because they didn't want it to start. And that's one of the reasons why you lost the election.
Arabia, they say. Under my leadership, we gave the largest tax cuts and regulation cuts in American history. Bigger than the Reagan cuts. I stood up.
Again, this is not even true.
For Iowa ethanol. I think I got some credit for that.
No. Also, by the way, California is one of the reasons why ethanol is such a big deal because California insists on ethanol in the gas, which makes it slightly more expensive. Here we go. Hold on one second. I'm trying to find an article where it's not behind a paywall, but outgoing Obama administration mandates record ethanol blending. Yeah. Everybody was cranking up ethanol as a way of mitigating climate change.
So,
initially they were against it, the Obama administration, and then over time they were like, nope, this is actually better environmentally. Once it passed the environmental tests, they were like, yeah, it's actually positive, which is why California jumped on board.
We ran twice.
Most of the ethanol, I would say the lion's share of ethanol-related gas goes to California because they insist.
And we won your state twice, and nobody's done for the farmers, and even ethanol and all of the things like we did.
And all the things, yeah, just ethanol and things. So ethanol was just written, and corn, something.
Stood up.
Hey, Nubia.
President in history for Iowa farmers and for farmers all over, farmers and ranchers and
farmers and ranchers and growers and showers. alike.
Manufacturers all over the country passing USMCA, virtually eliminating the unfair estate tax or death tax on farms and farmers, so that now when you pass away.
No, personal, like family farms were exempt largely, and certain states have stronger controls on them. But like the big states like Kansas and Iowa and Montana, Wyoming, like all of them have protections for passing one on. The difference is that family-owned big ag business trying to pass it on to the Don Juniors of those family. That was different because it's not keeping a family farm in the hands of the family product, their children. It was about, forming a big company, buying up farms, and then passing those farms on, trying to take advantage of that.
You can, if you like your child, I always say, if you don't like, leave it to charity.
What?
On farms and farmers, so that now when you pass away, you can, if you like your child, I always say, if you don't like, leave it to charity. Some of us have horrible children. Do you have any horrible children?
What the fuck?
Children? Does anybody have like a child where you really are not going to leave your farm? Any farmers?
You mean like Tiffany or Eric?
No, you.
What the fuck is that? Holy shit. Somebody just had an argument in the family.
You don't have to. Just if you don't like them, don't, then what I did for you doesn't mean anything.
Holy hell. You think it's Don Jr.? Are we going to take a poll? Should we do a poll about who it is?
But I got rid of the inheritance. You know what would happen. You love your children, you want to leave it, and they end up going bust because they can't pay the estate tax. Well, you don't have that problem anymore with the farm, so it's great.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. It's let's see. Moreover, Gateses and their heirs are not exempt to the rule of 2anything currently not on non-operating landlords. 53% were inherited or gifted. Had the Biden plan been placed when these non-farmers inherited the land, they would have paid taxes on unrealized capital gains over the $2 million threshold. The AFP, here you go. The American Families Plan, whatever, taxes billionaires, protects farmers. Okay. According to the USDA, 98% of family-owned and operated farm estates would not incur any additional taxes when parents' assets are passed to their heirs. And under the Biden plan, such families would have their tax payments deferred so long as the farm remained in the family. The remaining 2% would pay higher taxes only on their non-farm assets. For example, even if Bill Gates were to begin farming his own land and could thus take advantage of the Biden exemption for family-operated farms, he would still have to pay taxes on the gains from his Microsoft stock and other non-farm assets he owned. The Republicans just wanted to end the estate tax and say, it's kind of like his thing about like asylum fraud. Get rid of all asylum and you get rid of the fraud too, but you don't keep the parts that are helpful. Same thing with this. Get rid of the estate tax and anybody can pass along any farms that they have, whether they farm them or not. Just any land that qualifies as farmland, whether you farm on it or you rent it out to be farmed by other companies or whatever. And in the Biden administration, no, if it's a family farm and you're passing it along to your kids, you get to keep that. And your non-farm stuff, you can defer if it helps to keep the farm afloat. You can defer a lot of your other taxes for 2 years.
Very important.
So that if they, for payroll taxes, other stuff like that, if you start to like re-up the family farm and make sure that you can staff it.
They were being... Right? They were being decimated. They'd leave. They love their children. They'd leave it to their children. Then they get this huge estate tax. They have to mortgage it. Then they end up losing it. That's very sad stories. I got rid of it.
And by the way, why would the Biden administration have to put a plan in place if he'd have, quote, gotten rid of it?
Call it the death tax. And standing up to China.
Oh, my green screen moved. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. I moved. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, because I moved and my camera tracked me. Sorry. Sorry, it's a big slit in the middle of it. Let me fix it. Hold on. I turned off the, where is it? There we go. And bring this in. Sorry about that. I forgot that if I start gesturing like him, it'll follow me sometimes. There you go. Move myself back over here. Squeeze that back up. Thanks for the heads up.
With massive tariffs, taking in billions and billions of dollars.
By the way, hang on 1 second. If I may, we're going to give it 1 second because I've got someone waiting off camera who wants to say hello, who's sticking his little paws underneath my door. Hi, buddy. What's going on?
What's happening? What's happening, buddy? Oh my gosh, it's the chipper, and he wants attention. What's he want? He wants some loves. How's my buddy? What are you doing, buddy? Is it too bright? You're in the dark? Hi. Yeah. Hi, buddy. Yeah. Look at this. Look at this, buddy. Hi. Yeah. Chip's like, they ordered food and your food is on the way and I would like some of it. So can you please stop this ridiculousness? Hi, buddy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he doesn't understand why I'm running late tonight. When I run late, he gets very confused. What's up, buddy? Here you go. Yeah, I need another arm. He's a big boy. He's a big boy. He's my serval. Look at your big belly. Look at his big belly. Hi, buddy. You okay? Yeah? You good? Yeah. All right. Aw, you sweet boy. All right. I'll get you a snack in a little bit. Okay? If the food gets here, you let me know, okay? He was like looking at me and literally licking his lips. He's like, is it a snack? Is it going to be a snack? Are we doing snacks? Or is it snack time? Are we having a snack? Please tell me we're having a snack. Please. Please let me know that the snack is the snacking and we're snacking some more. Can we snack a little bit? Can we please snack? I need a snack. All right. He is a chubber flub. It's true. But he's a big boy. All right. Back to where we were. Sorry.
Dollars when no other president took in literally 10 cents, not 10.
Again, literally a lie.
Cents over decades.
Nonsense.
And I gave a portion of that to the
thank
farmers
you, Treva.
Because the farmers.
I gave a portion of it because I was trying to buy their votes. Thank you, Robin, as well. And Kath, thank you. The only way I can stand watching this monster is with Hal's humor. Oh, thanks.
Treated very unfairly by the Chinese, right? Oh, he got a big check. You got a check. I'll bet that.
What, is that why they showed up to your free event?
That guy got a big. He's standing up and giving me a high five. You look at him, and he looks very proud.
That's not a high five. It's a German salute, and it creeps everyone out.
Prosperous. And you know how much money I took out of China for just the farmers? $28 billion, right? Hopefully you didn't get too much of it. I think he got a big chunk of it. No, $28 billion.
Hopefully you didn't get too much of it. Now Trump's jealous of anybody who got money. He's like, I gave you that money. You should give me some of that money. Should be sending it my way, even though it was to make up for lost revenue.
2 years, I went to our Secretary of Agriculture. How much have they hurt us? He said
right,
over 2 years, $28 billion. So I took out from much more than that. I took out $28 billion. We distributed to all of the farmers all over,
including foreign-owned farms that aren't owned by Americans. They got a big chunk because they own giant farms, big agribusiness
for the country. And that's something that's never happened before. Nobody's ever thought of that. Nobody would ever think of it. You have to be a little different to think of those things, but I was a little different.
Yeah, you're a little different. Spun is the word I would use.
And then we secured a deal that included the largest agricultural
what the fuck?
Worth of our farm product, and all of you are still benefiting. But I think, Eric, they're not like they lived up. I used to check it every.
Is that just me hearing that, or is that you guys hearing that as well? Is this just the quality programming we've come to expect from RSBN?
Every week, are they buying? Are they buying? 50 billion. Remember, they wanted 15. Farmers wanted 15. And I said, let's make it more. You know, it is.
Okay. I heard it too. I was like, what the fuck was that?
1.5 million people. I said, let's make it more. So I told my people, make it 50. They said 50. And then the farmers came back. They said, we have a problem. I couldn't believe they said this, Kim. They said, we have a problem. We can't produce that much. I said, you'll figure a way. And I told them my famous line, go out and buy bigger pieces of land and bigger tractors, okay? And that's what they did.
No, they did not.
They went out, Jeff, and they bought more land and bigger tractors.
And also, why the fuck is the government subsidizing people to expand their land? Where the fuck are they buying it? From other people? So people who got this money from the government are what? Buying smaller farms and eating them up? So the big agribusinesses that got the lion's share of this payment were able to buy up a bunch of... Is that how Bill Gates fucking did it? Motherfucker, if we find out that one of the ways that Bill Gates was able to buy a bunch of these farms is because he, as a farm owner in the United States, was given an allocation of funds equal to the land he already bought, and since he didn't fucking need it, he used it to buy other farms. So that's what it is now, that Bill Gates literally bought up and became the biggest owner of farmland in the United States, thanks to Trump giving him money he didn't fucking need.
And it worked out great, but now I understand that China's not living up to the deal because they don't
What deal?
Respect the administration.
Don't respect the administration, motherfucker. They didn't live up to it when you were there. We don't want the deal. We want to keep our food.
Put it mildly. And
yeah, okay. Can I just say for the record, A, fuck you, and B, I don't want a president that is quote unquote respected by Xi Jinping and the current leadership of the CCP. If some of the Chinese people appreciate him, cool. But insofar as those guys, I don't want them to respect him, because if they respect him, they think they have something on him. They effectively think of him as an equal. They are not. They are authoritarians, and Xi Jinping plans on being fucking emperor for life. This is garbage.
A bad thing could happen in China, too, with Taiwan. Let's see what happens. Like it wouldn't have happened with Ukraine. It wouldn't have happened with China. But let's see what happens, because they're circling it right now.
They're circling. We're circling it, you dumb son of a bitch.
With ships all over the place.
With ships all over the place. China doesn't have any ships that can go 500 miles out to sea without having to be refueled. Not a one. Their subs are diesel powered. We can hear them from 1,000 miles away.
Biden and the radical left Democrats have devastated the American farm.
Thank you, Barbara.
With crippling fuel costs, fertilizer shortages. I mean, the fertilizer stuff I hear is just a mess, right?
Oh, my God. Please explain the fact that fertilizer comes from Russia, and we need, potash, and most of the potash comes from Russia because they don't give a shit about the environmental impact, so they'll just dig it up, and they don't give a rat fuck who it makes sick or whatever. And so we take a bunch of environmental things into consideration, especially the health and welfare of our own citizens, and we're still going to have one of the biggest potash mines in the world in Michigan online in the next 12 months.
Fertilizer. We didn't have any fertilizer shortage. We didn't have
Jesus Christ. Yeah, you didn't have any sanctions against Russia because they tried to murder and rape a bunch of people.
Diesel shortages, which they have right now. They have another 21 days left. Lots of luck after that. But it's only going to get worse.
No, we don't have enough. All right, this is like the net zero argument, where they're like, we're net zero. We're not going to have anything because net zero means you're cleaning up or moving to renewables as fast as you are polluting so that it zeroes it out. It doesn't mean absolute zero. It's a totally different thing. Same thing here.
Fertilizer shortage. We didn't have diesel shortages, which they have right now. They have another 21 days left.
Okay. We do not have 25 days of diesel. We have 25 days of extra diesel, of diesel storage, essentially, if we need it. We're still getting diesel. We're not running out in 25 days of diesel. We have 25 days worth of diesel if all diesel seizes up and we don't get any more.
Lots of luck after that. But it's only going to get worse. Under the Trump administration,
It's only going to get worse.
we had the greatest economy in the history of the world.
By the way, every time he says it's only going to get worse, understand that he believes Republicans will take over the House and Senate. So what he's saying is if Republicans take over the House and Senate, it's only going to get worse.
With no inflation. And a man who really helped me with that was a guy named Chuck Grassley. He really was unbelievable.
He helped keep inflation down by what? Were you calling him late at night? Hey, Chuck, how do we keep inflation down? Well, I really think that one of the ways you can keep inflation down is just to pop that bubble. You know, sometimes you go out there to a pig farm and they have those big methane pools where they gather all the pig shit in one big swill pond, and then they cover it with a plastic tarp, and then that tarp starts to fill up with methane, and it's somebody's job on the farm to go out there and shoot that thing with a shotgun and let the methane out, you know, because they can't burn it off or whatever. Maybe you do that. Maybe you go down to Wall Street and you pop that bubble yourself.
Unbelievable. Where is he?
Yeah, good idea. Good question. Where's
he? Chuck? Chuck Grassley. He was, you're unbelievable. I'm looking at him with that beautiful green hat. He looks like he's like 40 years old. You are unbelievable.
No, he does not. Chuck Grassley does not look like he is 40 years old. What the fuck are you talking about?
Unbelievable. But
yes, it's unbelievable that Chuck fucking Grassley looks 40.
I just said it. I'm going to introduce him in a second, but I had to
Yeah, well, you already did.
say it. He helped me more than just about anybody. He's incredible. He loves this state, and he loves the farmers, and he loves ethanol. I said, how good is it? He said, it doesn't matter.
It tastes great. It pearls your teeth and curls your hair and gives your tongue a sleigh ride. What the fuck do you mean he loves ethanol?
We want it. There's no games with Chuck. And he got it. Biden and the Democrat Congress created the worst inflation in 50 years, 9.1%.
No, they didn't.
But it's much worse. And
hold on one second, by the way, if I may. Get out of here. I mean, it doesn't even make it difficult for me. Try. You're boring me, you dumb lunk. So
don't
true.
think you're buying a turkey for Thanksgiving because they're not available. And if you get them, you're going to have to pay 3 to 4 times more than you did last year.
Hold on. A 16-pound butterball frozen will cost you $16.91. A whole, let's see, a 20 to 24-pound one will cost you $43 at Vons. At Walmart, you can pick one up today, a whole turkey, 10 to 16 pounds, serves 12 people for $13. Yeah. Here you go. Fuck you. Okay. Walmart and here you go. Turkey. Big turkeys could be hard to find. You'll have to settle on a turkey that only serves 12 people. Could be, by the way. Could be. Walmart and H-E-B and Aldi start a turkey price war. When I click on this, hold on one second, I'll show it for a second, hopefully. Walmart said it priced all the Thanksgiving fixings last year's, including a 50... fuck it. Basically, 50%, they're selling turkeys 50% cheaper than they did last year, literally half off. Food shortages will make turkey and other holiday foods hard to find, says Eater. Walmart is helping customers set the table this holiday season with this year's Thanksgiving meal at last year's price. this year's Thanksgiving meal at last year's price. Saving money is a top priority for customers right now. So this year, we're removing inflation of an entire basket, including traditional Thanksgiving items. We made significant investments on top of our everyday low prices so that they get, this is Walmart. Now, Republicans don't traditionally like Walmart or use Walmart. Okay, so let's see. Here you go. This is the Axios one. Here you go. October 18th, turkey prices up 73% due to factors like avian flu. Damn you, Joe Biden and your avian flu. Right now, the price per pound of an 8 to 16. There you go. Turkey price is 73% higher than last year and might stay that way through October 18th. Ongoing spread of bird flu will likely affect the price and availability of turkeys this Thanksgiving. Yes, that darn Biden bird flu. Might as well just call it the Biden flu at this point. Right now, the price per pound of an 8 to 16 pound turkey is $1.99, up from $1.15 last year, which is a 73% increase. Typically, bird flu spreads through colder months, but this year commercial turkey producers were reporting late cases of avian flu in July, a time when farmers were raising flocks for the holiday season, certainly occurring at a terrible time. The last avian flu outbreak was 2015, and about 50 million birds were affected, according to USDA data. This year, 47.6 million birds have been affected, and the flu has been detected in 42 states. To control the spread, growers must kill entire flocks, which usually contain about 15,000 birds. These viruses occurring at a higher level of frequency. It seems like this year HPAI is more acute. It's certainly more widespread in terms of geography. Lower industry-wide turkey supplies are expected to keep prices higher near term because of fucking avian flu. Here you go. They're $1.79 according to this one. The other one was $1.99 in October. 40 cents higher than last year's peak price. Skyrocket this Thanksgiving. The retail price for fresh, boneless, skinless turkey breast reached a record high of $6.70 per pound in September, 112% higher than the same a year ago for prepared turkey because all of it's going into the full turkeys because they're going to sell those. Nobody's going to process fucking turkey breasts when they're trying to sell Thanksgiving turkeys, and a bunch of them have been culled. If you can get a whole turkey, you're going to sell a whole turkey because it's fucking Thanksgiving. Meanwhile, if you want one from Walmart, average price is $24 for a 16 to 24 pound. That's about $1.39 pound. Just saying.
You might not. Maybe you'll look at something else. Why don't you go get bacon? That's only gone up 2.5 times. I rebuilt our military, including our nuclear capability and the creation of Space Force, first time in 79 years, which is a big deal, too.
It's the first time we've started Space Force in 79 years.
They surrendered our strength and turned Afghanistan into the greatest humiliation our country has ever had.
Again, I don't know where the fuck he says this. I don't know where he's even coming from. This embarrassment thing. It's the biggest insult he could come is humiliation and embarrassment because he fears it more than anything else.
And now we have a war between Russia and Ukraine with potentially hundreds of thousands of people dying. That would never have happened if I were president.
Yeah, true. Ukraine would have never had a shot. It would have been over in 6 days like the Georgia war. We would have never backed them. We would have never gotten NATO up off its feet and on its way to protecting Ukraine as quickly. We wouldn't have had ongoing support. This fucker would have cut them off at the knees within a week and called for them to just give land to Russia. That's the part that never would have happened. The invasion was going to happen. Putin has said so. It's a matter of the timing of it. The goal was to do it in his second term so he doesn't have to run against it because he doesn't have to give a fuck, and then give it to Russia and go, it's just what happens over there. It's not our problem. And then move back to domestic issues.
It was not even thinkable.
Yes, it was thinkable, motherfucker. It started in 2014, and they'd done it to Chechnya, they'd done it to Georgia, and they were threatening to do it the entire fucking time.
The energy cost, the price per barrel was at $40. He can't have a war. He can't afford it. At $100, he can afford it.
It's not at $100. It's at $82, and their break-even price for the Saudis is $85.
The election was rigged.
85. That's why the Saudis at this price range, when it's vacillating between $82 and $88 a barrel, that's why they cut production. The Saudis cut production because they need it to go up over 90, or they are selling oil at cost. And they're running out.
And now our country is being destroyed. I ran twice, I won twice, and did much better the second time than I did the first.
I agree. I totally agree. It was much better the second time because you lost and you're not the president. See that? We can agree on things.
Getting millions.
What's the markup on a barrel? It depends on what they can get for it. Right now, Russia is something in the order of, they have $65 a barrel at cost. Saudi Arabia is more expensive.
More votes in 2020.
So, cost to produce a barrel in Russia. Well, there you go. It's complicated because of its wells are more expensive to operate than others. They're zeroing it out. They're calling it $40 a barrel in Russia. And cost per barrel of Russia, Saudi. Let's see what they have in Saudi Arabia. $10 it's on OPEC oil production costs. OPEC managers generally face lower costs. Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, correction, but rarely exceed $10 a barrel. Though the study period median costs were $5.40, 95th percentile production was at $10 a barrel. By contrast, among producers outside the OPEC cartel, median cost is $9.70 a barrel, with the 90th percentile being $28 per barrel. This is just barreling it, not the production of it. OPEC share of global oil production, actual versus least cost production assumption. When was this? This is 2018. Okay, so that's different. They're saying $5 to $6, not quite, and transport, which is what gears it up. That's their cost overall of getting it. Getting it out of the ground is about $5 a barrel. Getting it into a barrel and transported, that's where it starts to get expensive. 2019. I'm having trouble finding 2022. Okay, but here you go. Cost of oil production by country. Oil price at the fiscal balance is $0 US dollars per barrel. Break-even oil price. Okay, so to break even for a barrel of oil, the UAE needs 69.2. Saudi Arabia, there it is, $85.10 to break even on oil per barrel. Algeria needs it at 111. Bahrain needs it at 128. Kazakhstan needs it at 140, which is why they're shifting to natural gas. Iran needs it to be $306 US per barrel to break even in 2021 prices. That's their fiscal break even. Here's the external break even price. This is the sales point of it. Algeria is at 82, Kazakhstan 81, Azerbaijan 69, Oman, Iraq, let's see, UAE, United Arab Emirates is 16.7, Iran is $21. Yeah, so this is just at which the current account balance is $0, right? US dollars per barrel. Here you go. Top 10 oil producers. This is Saudi Arabia across here in numbers of barrels. And this is the United States from 2018 to 2019. Value at 110,000. These are the exporters. This is we're exporting 110,000 in this. That's Nigeria. Oh, here's the U.S. 104,000 barrels a day, I guess, in October 2019. That's when they're going to. Benchmark crude oil prices. There you go. 2022. So basically, it's on average with 2013. Here's inflation technically making the dollar worth less in theory. 122 a barrel. Brent crude was, there we go, 114. Yeah. And then production of crude oil, including lease condensate. Look at that. Thousands of barrels per day. Look who's leading. The U.S. beating Russia by 1,000 barrels. Saudi Arabia, then Canada, then Iraq, then China, although they use a lot more than they release, so none of that makes it to market. Iran, which is why if you open up a little bit of what they can do, this is 11,000. So it is 11 million barrels a day because it's 11,000, 1152, 500, 254,000. So we're still in the lead. We have been for years.
Money that I got in 2016
and he did say accidentally the price of a ballot. That was a Freudian slip.
Likewise, getting more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country by far. And now
and still getting your ass handed to you by a guy who you said hung out in the basement.
In order to make our country successful and safe and glorious,
we might have to do it again.
I will very, very, very probably do it again, okay?
Very, very, very probably. Fuck you.
Very, very, very probably. Very, very, very probably.
What do you mean very, very, very probably? Why is my stream deck freaking out? What happened to you? There it is. Flipped out for a minute. I will very, very, very probably. Yeah. How many? Very up? Very probably. Very, very probably. Bullshit. Boil turkey bones to make excellent broth. This is true. Nearly impossible. What, can you imagine what an asshole you'd have to be to say very, very, very probably? Fuck you. Suckers! Watch out, because you can't cross that line. You don't get to keep that fucking money.
Oh, that's nice. Well, get ready. That's all I'm telling you. Very soon. Get ready. Get ready.
Get ready for what? To hear?
Radical Democrats are currently...
Dude, these fuckers are ready. They've been ready. You just dragging them around. Just...
trying to eliminate Iowa's first in the nation status in presidential elections. I told you that. Remember 4 years ago, I said, I'm not going to let it happen. Not going to let it. And I stopped it 3 times. I stopped it so much.
What do you mean you stopped it so much? It's not your fucking say.
It almost became a full-time job. They do want to take it away from you, that I can say. But the Iowa caucuses...
Again, why the fuck should we have it there? Why is Iowa, by the way, still with caucuses, for fuck's sake, and all deference to our lovely friends who live in Iowa, why the fuck should a caucus be the way we kick off? Bunch of people yelling in a room like it's the 1800s.
Are cherished and it's
fucking vote on paper and put it down. Jesus Christ.
It's a national tradition, and we are committed to keep it.
Yeah, still no Chuck Grassley. He's just standing over there freezing to death. But he can take it. He's a young guy. He looks 40.
Iowa first for many, many years to come. We're not moving to Kim, okay? It's not happening. I've been saying that now for 6 years, and so far I've been very successful, but there are a lot of people that want to move it. You know that. It's not going to happen. But before we talk about 2024, we have to win a historic victory for Republicans on November 8th. Right here in Iowa, you have the chance to reelect one of the strongest, toughest, and most courageous.
Also, by the way, the fact that he has to go to Iowa to protect Chuck Grassley is fucked. Like, Biden's in Florida, DeSantis country, and Trump's in fucking Iowa trying to gin up support for Chuck Grassley?
Members of the United States Senate.
Does that say red wave to you? There's a red wave. Do you think anybody who's got a seat, especially as like Trumpy as Chuck Grassley has been, like he is all Hunter Biden laptop all the fucking time.
And he is the one and only Chuck Grassley. Chuck has devoted his entire life to serving the people of Iowa, and he does.
Yes, he looks 40.
Brilliantly, and he's a tough guy, and he's respected by everybody.
No, I'm. Everybody's a big group. I would be in that group, and I do not respect Chuck Grassley. I think he's stunningly, blazingly full of shit.
So, I remember when he was he was doing like an inquisition on a guy named James Comey. Remember that? Oh, and you know, in his
that's not a good thing. Inquisitions are bad.
his normal voice, he said, "Did you leak it?" And he was being nice. He wasn't even just the voice is very powerful. It's
Where the fuck are these people? They're leaving.
like got this scary voice, and Comey was saying, "Did you leak it?"
Food's here. All right. What? Huh? All right. Well, I'll be right there. I'll cut it short tonight. I'm gonna go eat my food in a minute, but we'll finish this one beat.
He's got. Yes, I did. I said he just said he leaked it. You're the only one could have gotten him to say that, right? That was the beginning of a real mess. Let me tell you.
I feel like I learned a lot. I mean, that was no better description of a moment in history has been repeated. Not since 77 years ago, our forefathers brought forth upon this great nation. Right.
But while also visiting all 99 Iowa counties every single year, and he's done it every single year. I was in the Oval Office with him once, and right in the middle of a sentence, I was talking. He said, "I have to leave, sir." I said, "What? I'm in the middle of a sentence. I'm telling you about ethanol or something. I don't know what the hell I'm telling you."
I don't know what I'm talking about.
He said, "No, sir, I have to leave. I haven't missed a vote." How many years, Chuck? He said, "I haven't missed a vote in 27 years, sir."
Yes. Remind yourself, if you may, at this point, you'd be welcome to do it, that this fucker constantly talks about people who are lifelong politicians or have been in D.C. and always, are inside the Beltway people or whatever. And meanwhile, this motherfucker has been in office for 27 fucking years.
And I respect you a lot, but I'm out of here. Bye, sir. I said, "It's okay, Chuck. Come back later." He didn't miss that vote, did you? No, he hadn't missed a vote. Think of that.
No, he just wanted to piss. There was no vote. You're just boring. But nobody can tell you you're boring because you think of yourself as a Kim Jong-un type.
That in terms of...
I'm going to go, I'd love to stay here all day and piss my pants, but I got to go vote for something that was your idea that you never even thought of. I'll be back after this.
In terms of just something very special, I mean, who's like that? But he hadn't missed it, and he went out and he voted. And he also, very importantly, he votes the right way. That's even more important. As a farmer...
How do you know?
Himself, Chuck is a fierce defender of Iowa farmers. He's critical, and he is so critical in defending your interests. When the farm bills are written, he's brutal during farm bill time.
Yeah. Once he puts on the kid gloves come off when Chuck Grassley is there they're writing farm bills. Ooh.
He'll call you 30 times a day until he gets it just perfect.
Why would he have to fucking call you 30 times a day to get the bill perfect if he goes to all 99 counties and I can't do it. This just makes no fucking sense. I got to go eat. I love you guys. We'll finish this part. I'll leave it on pause if I feel like picking it up tomorrow. It's the same shit every time. I want to at least do the QAnon music thing at the end if I don't get a goddamn copyright strike because he's using this fucking cult music. But anyways, I will see you guys tomorrow. Morning show and afternoon show. HAL Sparks morning show is on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I know some people were asking about how it works out. I go to the gym on Tuesday and Thursday mornings. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday are my days to do the morning show. When I launched it, that's how I was kind of pacing it out. And if I had to do it 5 days a week with the afternoon show, I would keel over. I also need some catch up study time where I read the last couple of weeks. It's been climate papers, the affidavits, and the charging documents around both Trump, the cases against Trump, and the dude who attacked Paul Pelosi. So and then keeping up on what's going on in Ukraine, what's going on with the Chinese economy, what's going on with the Russian economy, what's going on with the European economy, like all that kind of stuff. I gotta study. I can't just dick around watching this moron. By the way, for the record, this selling the Trump knife again. on my way out. Like, this is so fucking embarrassing. Anyways, I adore you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow for the morning show. And then Philip Bittner's going to join us on Saturday for the second hour of that show. I'm also going to try and start doing guests on the morning show. And I believe we'll be starting next week, fingers crossed, because the election's on Tuesday. I'd like to have somebody on Monday with me. And I'm on, if you're a Steph head, I'm on right after she finishes Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So you can watch Steph and then come right over to my show. That would be really fun. So it's just like a radio show like she does, except I don't have commercials and I can swear all I want. Fucking cool, right? Anyways, I love you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. I'm going to go eat because my stomach growling is going to be louder than my voice in just a few minutes. Okay. Have a good night. Thank you guys for the support, by the way. Thank you, Doug, for becoming a member, and Roland for subscribing. Thank you, Jovan. Thank you, Benny Loco. Respect my authority. Right. Christina, thank you so much. I will pass on your love and hugs to Chip. Marcia, Casey, thank you so much. I adore all of you. And thank you for subscribing, everybody, and become a member. Thanks, everybody, on Facebook for the stars. It really helps. I'm setting up a thing where we can start seeing the Stars Awards on the regular. That's one of my next additions to the stuff that I have all over the goddamn screen all the time. So remind everybody to subscribe today. Okay, I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, have a good night.